All right, let's go ahead and call the Senate to order. Sergeant Arms will please secure the chamber doors. Members, please take your seats. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. President.
All right, Senators, on this beautiful sine die April 13th, we are so pleased to have with us Pastor Madeline Tallman of the Breath of God Lutheran Church, located in the wonderful 46th Legislative District. Please rise for the invocation.
Let us pray. O Holy One, we ask your blessing on this final day of the Maryland session. Be with our delegates and senators as they serve the people of Maryland. May the work they have put in these last 90 days be pleasing in your sight. As the session finishes today, bestow our leaders with courage as they traverse perils unknown and paths as yet untrodden. Bring wisdom and a spirit of cooperation. Ground these leaders in a spirit of service. And though the session ends today, we know their work continues. May today bring celebration and relief ahead of another season. Pour out your spirit on these leaders and make us one people in the community. With grateful hearts, we pray. Amen.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Excellent. If there's no objections, senators would love to journalize the pastor's remarks. She does a wonderful, wonderful job at Breath of God. They're doing incredible work in the community. So pleased to have her here with us today. All right. Has everyone recorded their presence? It appears close to being so. All right. The clerk will take the call. With 43 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland is again back in session. Let's start with guests. Any guests today? Not a single. Yes, Senator from the 28th District.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. President. Colleague, I have two guests to recognize today. First is Dr. Royce Burnett. He is the School of Business Dean at the great Morgan State University. Dr. Burnett was recently inducted into the Wilson T. Anderson Accounting Hall of Fame. Yes, there is a Hall of Fame for CPAs. This achievement reflects a career defined by exemplary leadership, academic excellence, and a steadfast commitment to advancing business education and cultivating future leaders. Please join me in applauding Dr. Burnett.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you for joining with us today. Hello there. Thank you for being here with us. Thanks for your great work.
And Mr. President,
yes,
second
please, Senator, may
guest,
proceed.
Dr. Don Terry Veal is Vice President of Government Relations at Morgan State University. He has demonstrated an exemplary commitment to advancing the mission and visibility of the university through strategic partnerships, legislative engagement, and effective advocacy at the local, state, national, and global levels. I worked with Dr. Veal with Dr. Wilson to enhance my senatorial scholarship to match my senatorial scholarship in District 28. And, they received a really major grant from a major donor in the last few months, and they were willing to work with me to do that. So welcome, and thank you, Dr. Veal.
Excellent. Welcome. Thank you. All right. Any further introductions? If not, so be considered the reading of the journal from the prior legislative day. Today's going to be a little bit of a, we'll see where we are. It's looking like 3 sessions is the tentative plan, potentially 4, depending on what comes over and at what time. So we'll probably go towards 12:30-ish around. We'll take a break and we'll probably come back around 2:30. We'll go till kind of the mid-afternoon-ish, take a little maybe hour and a half for committees to meet, last minute stuff, and then come back probably around 7, and then we'll either go straight through or we'll break and have a little bit of time between that. So it's going to be a long day. Hope everyone brought their coffee and Gatorade and all the things, or the tea for those. Apparently, the chair of Budget and Tax has his Twizzlers, so we know we're actually ready to go. All right, and tab. We have tab. It appears we've got it all today, even though it's not necessarily allowed on the Senate floor. Either of those items. But yes, recognize Senator from Anne Arundel.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, we have a wonderful group of pages that are going to be with us
yes, of
today on this Sine Diary. Will be powering through with us all the way to midnight. I think that there's some up in the gallery, and then there's some down here with us on the floor. The first page who's with us is Maya Apt from Baltimore County, District 8, Perry Hall High School. Margaret Bile from St. Mary's County, District 29, a student from Leonardtown High School. Ryan Chadackle from Montgomery County, District 14, Damascus High School. Tracy Espinoza, Montgomery County, District 15, Watkins Mills High School. Annabelle Fogelman, Baltimore City, District 46, a student at Baltimore City College High School. Morgan King, Prince George's County, District 24, Charles Herbert Flowers High School. Jasmine Miller, Baltimore City, District 7, a student at Baltimore Polytechnic Institute. Tanvi Madagula from Howard County, District 9, a student at Mount Hebron High School. Cooper Morton, Anne Arundel County, District 30, a student at Severn School. Zaria Nakvi from Montgomery County, District 16, a student at Winston Churchill High School. Cadence Natividad from Garrett County, District 1, a student at Southern Garrett High School. Michelle Osaado from Frederick County, District 3, Oakdale High School. Olawakimi Osami Louis from Howard County, District 13, Hammond High School. Marcus Schwartz, Anne Arundel County, District 31, a student at Severn School. And last but not least, Liam Wallace, Caroline County, District 36, a student at North Caroline High School. Round of applause.
Very good. Welcome back. It's going to be a fun day. We are so pleased that you all are able to be here with us today, and it's going to be an interesting one, so enjoy. All right, anything else before we jump in today? No, it appears not, so let's do it. Okay, we're going to start with a not concur so we can get messages across. This is going to be out of Triple E. This is going to be Senate Bill 311, not the band, but the bill. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 311, the President, Education, the Blueprint for Maryland's Future. Senate will not concur. Please
Recognizing
proceed.
the chair of the committee on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill makes various revisions to the Blueprint for Maryland's Future regarding funding, reporting requirements, teacher credentialing, dual enrollment, and Career and Technical Education Committee, among other things. The bill passed 40-0 out of the Senate, Senate Bill 11. The House amendments strike all the Senate amendments and conform it to House Bill 490 as passed by the House. The Triple E committee does not concur with those House amendments, Mr. President.
All right, the committee moves that we not concur with the House amendments. Any discussion, any objections? Without objections, the Senate does not concur with the House amendments. Clerk will read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate refuses to concur in the House amendments and respectfully requests the House recede from its position. Should the House prefer a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses, the Senate appoints Senator Feldman Chair, Senator Watson, Senator Carosa. Said bill is returned to Airwith by order. Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
Message having been read is adopted. Let's go to, we have a message from the House. This is on House Bill 907. Clerk will read the message.
House Bill 907, Delegate Moon, criminal law, third-degree assault. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates does not confer in the Senate amendments of the House to the House bill and agrees to a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes of the two houses. The Senate has appointed Senator Smith, Chairman, Senator Love, Senator West. The House appoints Delegate Cardin, Chair, Delegate Valentine, Delegate Moon. Said bill is returned to herewith by order. Sylvia Seigert, Chief Clerk.
Message having been read is ordered journalized. All right, let's start with some second readers here. Let's go ahead and start with Budget and Tax, report number 34. 34. Clerk will read the first bill. We're having a bit of a computer issue. Give us just a moment. That's how it goes, you know. Global pandemics, you know, it is what it is. It's just bridges. The end of session always comes with something. Sure. We're going to hold for a second on that calendar. For some reason, we're having. Okay, we're going to. It's coming in for our second session for some reason. So we're going to take up. Oh, yes. It appears we have our State Superintendent of Schools, Carrie Wright, here with us today in the gallery. We can give her a warm Senate welcome. Pleasure to see her here today. All right, we are having a bit of a computer glitch, so let's try. We're going to move to Triple E. We'll go back to that calendar once we get it up on the system. We're going to start with report number 49 out of Triple E. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 575, Delegate Wilkins, Public Schools. No.
Third bill on 49, not the first. First bill is current.
Well, that was fun. Sign die, anyone? Let's just go ahead. We're going through tech support, unplug, plug, you know. All right, there we go. When in doubt, deep breaths, keep on swimming, right? All right, let's go to House Bill 6, recognize the senator from the 43rd as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 6 is the cross-file of a Senate bill. This bill requires the Department of MHEC to collect data on pregnant and parenting persons attending our colleges and universities. The committee has two amendments. The first amendment is technical. The second amendment exempts the Maryland Global Campus from the data collection provision and alters the pregnant and parenting plan provisions to apply only to public senior higher education institutions and community colleges. I move for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the two committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion?
Gesundheit.
Yes, thank you. Recognize the senator from the 42nd on the favorable report as amended.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. President, for the floor leader, if you could ask,
Sir, may proceed.
I'm not unfamiliar with this bill. Can you explain it in a little more detail, please?
Well, under Title IX, one of the sort of protected classes, and also consistent with our policy in the state of Maryland, we want to be affirming of persons who are raising children. And this bill will help us develop better policy by collecting information about those students.
So this is just a data collection bill.
This is just a data collection bill.
Okay, and what is the timing on the collection of the data?
Could you be more specific?
When is the report due with the data that was collected?
Oh, this will be so yes, this is not a one-time report. This is something, like, we collect a lot of data as a part of our longitudinal study of students in our colleges and universities. It's all voluntary, and it will begin September 27 and then continue thereafter.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. Any further discussion on the favorable report as amended? If not, any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 6 is ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 182, Delegate Stein, election law, presidential elections, selecting and voting, favorable with one amendment.
Recognizing the Vice Chair of the Committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this just, there's one amendment that makes this conform with the Senate Bill 237, which this body passed unanimously. It makes sure that if someone is a faithless elector to the Electoral College, that they can be replaced. Move adoption of the favorable committee report, the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the one committee amendment and the favorable committee report. On the amendment, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 182 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 575, Delegate Wilkins, Public Schools, Student Attendance, Excused Absences for Civic Engagement, favorable with two amendments.
Recognize the senator from the 23rd as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this bill requires each local board of education to adopt an attendance policy for public school students that treats a student's absence as excused if, during a regular session of a public-facing body, the student engages in civic engagement activities as specified. Attendance policies and procedures under the bill must authorize a student to be excused for at least 15 hours or 2 school days to satisfy or conduct civic engagement activities or the length of time of the PAGE program. Excused absences for testifying or conducting civic engagement activities under the bill must be in addition to any excused absences under existing policies or procedures of the local board. There are two committee amendments. The first is technical. The second requires an existing student attendance policy to include a provision that allows an excuse or discretionary absence for a public school student participating in civic engagement activities as specified and strikes the requirements specifying the amount of hours or days that must be excused. There's no fiscal impact. I move adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, recognize the minority whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wonder if floor leader would yield for a question.
Senator may proceed.
Yes.
Thank you. I've worked on the civic engagement issue with the vice chair of EEE, and we finally got the bill passed, which is wonderful. And trying to recognize when students participate, being able to have a student that's participated in civic engagement activities to a certain level to be able to receive some recognition. So we worked on that for a number of years. Big believer in it. How does the bill define what is a civic engagement activity?
It includes certain things. It's not a broad definition.
There's not a broad definition.
Let's take on, just checking here. So it could be, it says testifying virtually, meeting with the legislative body. They've struck a lot out. That's why I was trying to figure out, does it include, but do you have to get there's a question, could you get pre-approval? Do you have to get pre-approval?
There is pre-approval required.
Okay, so a student can't just say, hey, I'm going to a protest today, or a counter protest, depending on which county you're in maybe, and say, I want an excused absence. There has to be something that's planned in advance.
Has to be approved by the county.
Okay, and the county, this is the county
Board of
board's
Education.
set up a structure. Okay. All right. Okay. All right, thank you very much.
All right, questions on the two amendments. Recognize Senator from the 42nd, followed by the minority leader.
Actually, it's not on the two amendments. I'll let the amendments pass. I want to ask about the bill, though.
On the report. All right, minority leader.
Thank you again, Mr. President. Just another quick question for the floor leader, please.
Senator may proceed.
Thank you very much. We were just, again, in looking over this, one of the main changes that they made here was that they changed it from a public-facing body to a legislative body. Do you recall why that was done?
So I think they wanted to ensure that they had the same standards that the pages use. This is a legislative body, and it's a little clearer.
So that's right. So the pages are covered under this, correct?
Correct.
And again, as my colleague mentioned, is there a period of time that this can be utilized for? Is it just, I saw something, one thing was about 15 hours, but then obviously the pages are here longer than that.
That was struck from the bill.
The 15 hours were struck. 15 hours are 2 school days. Okay, I just saw that in the amendment. So then there's no time frame on how long they could be out for
Is there a maximum?
civic engagement?
The county board will make the determination.
Okay, so each county, so that's, when the bill came in, it was the State Board of Elections was going to handle this through a single statewide policy. Then it was changed that the county boards are going to do this. So the counties could actually then all have different policies with respect to this?
Well, so what each county prescribes as an excused absence is different.
Currently?
Currently.
Oh, okay. So, so excused absences differ. The explanation or the rationale for them differ on a county-by-county basis.
There are categories in the regulations, but at the discretion of the counties on how it's determined.
How it's determined. Okay, and so this then falls more in line with that rather than the state passing the regulations at first.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, recognize Senator from District 1.
Question for the floor leader, Mr. President.
Senator may
please.
proceed.
Thank you. So I saw that MABE was in opposition. So do these amendments get them in alignment for support of the bill?
Yes, it did.
It did? Okay. And then my other question is, talking about school-based service learning modules in Washington County, there's a couple other counties that have this already. Will passage of this bill affect those modules that are already in, say, Washington County, Howard, Carroll, and even?
No, it will not.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, I recognize the Senator from the 42nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think some of my questions have been answered, but I could talk to the floor leader for a moment.
Please.
I'm looking at what remains in the bill. It says the student attendance policy of a county board shall include a provision allowing an excused or discretionary absence for public school student participation in civic engagement activities, and they are defined in part as meaning contributing to the consideration, development, or implementation of policy issues. Suppose there's a student group that wants to attend protest demonstrations on a weekly basis on Thursday afternoons and skip their classes to do that. Under this bill, would the county Board of Elections have to include a provision allowing excused absences for that activity?
You said County Board of Elections. You mean Board of Education?
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm a mistake.
Say it. No, not on a weekly basis.
Okay, what discretion would a county board of education have to put limits on the number of outside activities, civic engagement activities students are permitted to attend?
It's the current ones that they do.
The current ones they do? What are the current ones they do?
They already make these types of determinations.
Well, I'm looking at the statute. My question is, we're about to pass a statute, and the statute says that the county board shall include a provision allowing an excused or discretionary absence for a student who wants to contribute to the consideration, development, or implementation of public policy. So if the student wants to engage in a weekly protest demonstration and take the afternoon off on Thursday afternoons, my question is, does the County Board of Education have to provide include a provision allowing an excused absence for that activity?
No, the time with respect to that is not specified. It's up to the discretion of the county.
So if a county Board of Education wants to adopt a policy that says students may not leave the campus during the student day to attend demonstrations of any kind, I'm trying to be constitutional here, and of any kind, the County Board of Education would have the power to enact such a policy, correct?
That is correct.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any further discussion on the amendments? Any objection to the amendments? Without objection, the two committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 575 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 640, Chair, Government Relations and Elections, mandated reporters, boards, and commissions, revisions favorable with 2 amendments.
Recognizing the Senator from District 9 is the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this departmental bill alters the composition of specified boards, commissions, and committees. It repeals certain boards and councils, repeals specified reporting requirements, consolidates reporting requirements, and makes stylistic changes. There are 2 committee amendments. The first one is technical, and the second one restores the working groups of the Climate Change Commission and alters reporting dates. There's no fiscal impact. I move the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 640 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1335, Delegate Kaiser, Department of Information Technology Staffing and Capability Assessment, Independent Study, favorable.
Recognizing the Senator from District 9 is the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this bill requires the Department of Information Technology to procure the services of a third party to conduct an independent study that includes an assessment of information technology and cybersecurity staffing needs across principal departments. It also requires recommendations for updated IT classifications and pay scales for IT and cybersecurity professionals, informed by comparable compensation data from other agencies across state and local government. The bill takes effect July 1st, 2026. There are no committee amendments. I move the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1335 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. All right, let's go to back, hopefully, knock on wood. This is Budget and Tax Calendar 34. All right, clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 587, Delegate Phillips, Procurement, Department of Transportation and Maryland Transportation Authority Contracts, Board of Public Works Contract Authority, favorable with 2 amendments.
Recognizing President Pro Tem as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, most all contracts, as we know, go before the Board of Public Works. However, there are a couple of places that do not, and there are exceptions, and those are parts of the Department of Transportation and the Maryland Transportation Authority. And so the Board of Public Works considered wanting to have them take a look at those contracts. But what this bill has done is establish a work group to review those procurement procedures for capital expenditures in connection with state roads, bridges, or highways, and to issue a report on its findings and recommendations. There are 2 amendments. The first makes technical changes to the title. The second strikes the bill as introduced and substitutes the work group and reporting requirements. Move adoption of 2 favorable committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 587 is hereby ordered passed for 3rd reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 854, Delegate Boyce, School Construction, Non-Public Special Education School Renovation Program established, favorable.
Recognizing the senator from Montgomery County as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Colleagues, House Bill 854 is for special ed schools that serve public school students. This is to provide, it's the intent of the legislature to have the governor put in the budget, the capital budget every year, $5 million for capital improvements. We do that as a General Assembly anyway. This is just making it a priority for the General Assembly. There was no opposition, no committee amendments. I move adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 854 is hereby ordered passed for 3rd reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 898, the Speaker, Economic Development, Delivering Economic Competitiveness, Advancing Development Efforts, favorable with 2 amendments.
Recognizing President Pro Tem as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 898 is substantially similar to Senate Bill 388 with a couple of amendments that I will describe. The first amendment is technical. The second amendment incorporates the Senate amendments from Senate Bill 388, which passed the Senate unanimously. And those are, the first is that it alters the distribution of VLT proceeds to the small minority and women-owned business account so that $5 million are allocated to the Maryland Small Business Development Financing Fund, and it strikes the provisions repealing the limit on the aggregate amount of tax credit certificates that may be awarded for a single film production activity. Move adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted.
Mr. President.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
I did have one question on the report.
Yes, please, if we could strike that. Good, let's go back, please.
Apologies.
I recognize the minority whip on the favorable report is amended.
And I know Finance took a look at this, but I did have a question that I thought might be more of a B&T question. I don't know if the floor leader is willing to yield
Senator
on it.
may proceed.
Yes.
We've had legislation moving through this year about the film tax credit, and I think we've just extended it. Correct? I believe that's correct.
Yes.
I know it's not the floor leader's legislation, but that's my understanding.
Yes.
Yeah. So on this bill, can you talk about? I was trying to understand in the language. It's not a short bill, and I was trying to understand what is this bill exactly doing about the film tax credit?
So the House had actually changed the provision on the tax credits to allow for an any amount award, but that was now struck from what will be this final report that we're sending back, if that makes sense. So it takes it back to the posture that it currently is.
Which is that you get a certain limited amount
That is
out of
correct.
the fund. Okay. All right. Okay. And that is a credit that still comes from general fund, or is it out of the commerce?
It's out of the general fund.
Is that general fund?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right. Question remains on the favorable report as amended. Any further discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 898 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1247, Prince George's County Delegation, Prince George's County Tax Increment Financing Extraordinary Development District, favorable with 2 amendments.
Recognize the senator from Prince George's as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 1247 is a local bill that authorizes the proceeds from bonds that Prince George's County or the Revenue Authority of Prince George's County issues to be used for the acquisition, construction, or rehabilitation of an immersive entertainment venue, which I'm sure many of you are aware of, located within an extraordinary development district. The bill also authorizes the Maryland National Capital Park and Planning Commission to pledge specified tax revenue as security for bonds issued by Prince George's County. There are 2 amendments. The first amendment is technical. The second amendment makes this bill an emergency bill, specifies that any visual effects displayed on the exterior of an immersive entertainment venue are not considered signs under subtitle 27 of the Prince George's County zoning ordinance, and authorizes the Secretary of Transportation to grant exceptions to an immersive entertainment venue for any provisions of the subtitle regulating outdoor advertising that require state approval. Move adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1247 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1346, Delegate Amprey, State Department of Assessments and Taxation, expedited document processing and fees, favorable.
Recognize the senator from District 3 as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. HB 1346 establishes an expedited 1-hour time frame and a corresponding fee to process specified documents filed with the State Department of Assessments and Taxation. Under the bill, the documents must first be accepted for pre-clearance with SDAT. There are no amendments. I move adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1346 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. All right, let's go to finance. We have calendar report number 63. 63, we'll take up the cross files after.
House Bill 103, Delegate Stewart, Consumer Protection, Consumer Contracts, Prohibited Waivers, favorable with 2 amendments.
103. Recognizing the senator from the 19th District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, House Bill 103 prohibits a consumer contract from waiving, limiting, impairing, or disclaiming statutory or punitive damages and declaratory or injunctive relief if authorized by federal or state law. The bill only applies prospectively. Amendment 1 is technical. Amendment 2 establishes an exception. There is no fiscal impact. I move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 103 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 417, Delegate Pippi, Criminal Law, Schedule 3, Controlled Dangerous Substances, Medetomidine and xylazine, favorable.
Recognize the senator from District 5 as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 417 designates medetomidine and xylazine as Schedule 3 Controlled Dangerous Substance under the Maryland Controlled Dangerous Substances Act. There are no amendments, and I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Yes, recognize the senator from the 16th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. I don't know if we need to adopt this first, but I have some questions and potential amendments. So can we special order this bill till this afternoon?
Any objections?
Happy to take questions now, or we can.
I'd rather take them offline. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Yeah,
Unamended.
I have no objection.
Okay,
So
all right.
it's the second session.
Yep. All right. Without objection, we'll special order the bill to the appropriate time next session. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 535, Delegate Arns, Food Establishment Cottage Food Business Maximum Annual Revenue, favorable.
Recognize the senator from the 37th as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, House Bill 535 increases the annual maximum revenue for a cottage food business from $50,000 to $100,000. That's for a cottage food business. There are no amendments, and I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves the adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 535 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1248, Delegate Woloch, Work Group for an Inclusive State Workplace established, favorable 2 amendments.
Recognize the senator from District 19 as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, House Bill 1248 establishes a work group for an inclusive state workplace staffed by the Department of Budget and Management. The work group must outline the steps the state needs to take to offer more inclusive employment opportunities for specified individuals challenged by the traditional full-time employment structure. Establish guidance for state agencies to create part-time jobs with benefits, set annual goals to expand part-time job opportunities with benefits, and identify any potential statutory changes required to implement the inclusive employment plan. Amendment 1 is technical. Amendment 2 alters the work group membership. There was no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the 2 committee amendments are adopted. Question now on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Yes, I recognize the senator from District 6.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just got one question for the
Question for the floor leader. Senator may proceed.
Yes, my friend.
Yes, thank you. I see this is just something new that I think they're trying to prepare for to help out part-time workers and just part-time workers. Is this
Yes,
something that they're, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the goal here is to provide assistance to our residents with disabilities who don't necessarily have the opportunity to work full-time, as well as bring and keep our senior residents in the workforce who very often want to continue to work but can't do it on a full-time basis, as well as to provide opportunities for women in the workforce who, because of family obligations, have not been able to or cannot continue to work a full-time position but are available to work part-time. Okay. So this is a work group to take a look at how we might be able to better accommodate those folks in the workforce who are available for part-time, just not full-time.
No, I really appreciate that because I just wanted to get a better understanding, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Question remains on the favorable report as amended. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1248 is hereby ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1433, Delegate McCaskill, Community Colleges, Collective Bargaining, Definition of Supervisory Employee, favorable.
Mr. President.
All right, yes, recognize the senator from the 22nd as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill, HB 1433, is a straightforward fix to replace a definition that was inadvertently deleted from Maryland law in 2023 with the passage of PARA. Since the definition of supervisory employee was deleted, the Public Employee Relations Board has had to hear arguments at least 4 times on the same question: who is a supervisor? Without a definition, it is difficult to answer that question. PERB has acknowledged this issue, and that's the reason why we have this bill. This bill defines what supervisory employee means for the purposes of collective bargaining at community colleges, and specifies that the definition does not include department heads, comparable positions, or faculty members below that level of assistant dean. As a result, the bill clarifies that those employees may collectively bargain. There is no amendments and no fiscal impact. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the favorable committee report. On the report, recognize the senator from the 37th.
I just have a quick question for the floor leader.
Senator may proceed.
So, Just a quick question. So I know time's tight, and we had a discussion in committee. It's a bill in committee. The question came up over whether this was going to cost community colleges funding. AFT came in and said, no, it's not. I've heard directly from my community colleges detailing exactly where the expenses will range. I know one, Warwick, and specifically, is going to incur about $500,000 in additional cost. The question is do we have time to draft an amendment to exempt, let's say I could exempt the counties that are, the community colleges that are concerned about this? Would we have time to put this off in the calendar to offer that amendment?
No.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right. On the favorable
President.
committee report, recognize the senator from District 2. Sorry, senator from District 2.
Oh.
Thank you, Mr. President. Question for the floor leader.
Senator may proceed.
So I'm obviously not on the committee, but it did pique my interest there when you're talking about some costs to our community colleges. I recall that we did pass, collective bargaining for community colleges a couple of years ago, and I understood you were saying there this was the kind of a fix to take care of a group. How many people are we talking about across the system throughout MAC, all community colleges? How many people are we talking about?
The bill is, Mr. President, the bill as introduced and here on the floor is a simple fix to the definition of what supervisory means. It doesn't add any new persons to or staff members to the collective bargaining unit. They just want to make sure that, they don't have to go in front of PERB 4 times a year to clarify what the definition of a supervisor means. And I'll go back to the last question, which was asked about the fiscal note. The fiscal note says there's $0 that impacts any of the community colleges at all.
I appreciate what the fiscal note says. It sounds like there may be a difference of opinion there as far as what the colleges are saying, and I understood what you said earlier. But, Mr. President, are we able to lay this over to take a look at it? Or?
Layover would be out of order, but
Okay.
Special order is in order. Let's see where we are. It's unamended, so it still has time.
Yeah, we can have a special order. That'd be great. Want to contact our community colleges to actually see what's going on here.
We've talked to the community colleges. They've been before us. They presented to us before the committee, Mr. President, and we've gotten all their letters with their opinions on it. The fiscal note already says that it doesn't cost any extra dollars for the community colleges, and this is just a clarifying. So I would just resist this special order because we don't have a lot of time.
Mr. President, I appreciate that. Again, I'm not on the committee. I haven't spoken to the community college, so I don't know. So I'd press the special order. Thank you.
All right, question remains on the special order. All in favor of the special order say aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. No. The noes have it. Noes have it. All right. So the bill is on second reading, subject to amendment. Any discussion of the amendment? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. I think we're still on the favorable report. Question is on the favorable report. Any further discussion of the report? Recognize Senator from District 5 on the report.
Mr. President, I know this was in our committee, but I just think it's important here, and perhaps we can prepare an amendment for third reading. It's important discussion here because, we're at a time when we've got costs rising that we've been trying to deal with high cost of higher education. And the community colleges are really like the hinge point for people to be able to access affordable college and career advancement. They're a key workforce provider for us, Mr. President. And for counties like mine, Carroll, which is it's kind of a medium-sized county, but certainly for my county and counties that are smaller, I think of Chesapeake and Warwick, Carroll, and there's a number, Washington County. There are a number of these community colleges that really are a key part of the community. I mean, they all are, but especially in these medium to small counties. And for the fiscal note to say there won't be any added cost is dubious at best, because when you're adding more people into a unit for collective bargaining, the goal of collective bargaining is to improve wages and working conditions, and not that there's anything wrong with that. But you can't say it's not going to add costs. And this is adding supervisory employees and they're under a different tag than the community colleges normally use. It's going to require a number of administrative changes, as I understand the bill. So I guess I would ask my colleague if the floor leader would yield again, because I understand the answer that, well, we've heard from the community colleges. They don't, absent in that response was that they don't like it, but we've heard from the community colleges. And we understand that everybody always is like, well, you're resistant to change or whatever, but we've already done the collective bargaining part of this, and now we're coming back. So did we as a committee do anything to assuage any concerns we heard from the community college in a form of amendment?
We didn't add any amendments to the bill.
Okay. And the fiscal note says there won't be any added cost. Did the fiscal note, and I'm not looking at it now, I don't know the answer to this. I can't remember if did it say that there would be any added additional administrative burden, or was it silent on that, or do you remember?
It didn't. It said it wouldn't have any cost.
Okay. I think for me, my recollection at the voting session too was that we had a representative of an organized labor unit come up and answer some questions, which is fine, but we didn't really have the opportunity to hear from our community college. So, I mean, I know we've had a special order and it's been resisted, but I think that's something we ought to look at as we head towards third reader on possible amendments. I appreciate the response from the floor leader. Mr. President, I think my questions are answered for now.
All right. On the favorable report, recognize the senator from the 38th.
Thank you. I know we're operating in real-time information here, but I actually have an email from Dr. Casey, who's the president of Warwick Community College, and she goes into detail of the costs for the change for Warwick Community College, and she actually broke it down by the different departments. And it looks like it's a tune of looks like it's a tune of 1.27 million, and I would be happy to provide this information because it seems to be in direct contradiction of the information maybe the committee had at this time, and maybe this is updated information that the committee could take a look at.
All right. On the report, recognize senator from District 19.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, I think that any confusion being represented about this issue is being artificially generated. The fact of the matter is, and I will read directly from the fiscal and policy note on this, which states as follows: clarifying that department heads in comparable positions may collectively bargain is not, emphasis on is not, anticipated to materially affect local community college revenues or expenditures, because department heads are already, colleagues, emphasis on, are already permitted to collectively bargain as faculty under current law. The bill that is before us simply clarifies the definition of a supervisory employee so that every time there's collective bargaining at a community college, it doesn't start going up to the Public Employee Relations Board, which absolutely does cost the community colleges money because they have to hire counsel to represent them at the PERB and then find out exactly what the definition is that this bill makes very clear. So with that, I'll be very comfortable putting up a green vote on this bill at the appropriate time. Because it's clarifying and nothing more. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, on the report, recognize the minority leader on the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just given the statements that we just heard, I think that's one of the biggest issues. It is not clear what a supervisory employee is. And from what I understand, that's what this bill is trying to do. But in saying that they're doing that, making that change, it does open this up to potentially new levels of individuals that can now collectively bargain. So, Mr. President, if I could just have the floor leader just clarify something, because I do think we're going to try to get a couple of amendments to make sure that, and see how this applies. But currently, this applies to all.
Senator, may proceed.
Yes, thank you. Currently, this applies to all community colleges, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So, in going back, and there's been some differences between the fiscal note and the testimony that the Maryland Association of Community Colleges provided. They state that this presents a significant policy change to Maryland's community college collective bargaining structure by establishing a new statutory definition of advisory employee. And that's what we said. I mean, that's what the bill does, establishes that new definition. But in doing so, is the intention it brings more people into the collective bargaining status?
No, the intention is not for us to bring more folks under this bill. It does not add new folks into collective bargaining at all. It just clarifies what supervisory means, so that when they go to the PERB, they don't have to go 4 times a year to clarify what the definition of supervisory means. And I'll just note that also, on the fiscal note, I mean, the fiscal note drafters didn't just come up with this information by themselves. They talked to the Maryland Higher Education Commission, the Baltimore City Community College, the Public Employee Relations Board, PERB, which we just talked about, and the Department of Legislative Services to develop the fiscal note itself, which was read earlier, about clarifying this language so that there's no fiscal note, there's no dollars needed. I think we just the fiscal note and the folks that you're referring to, the community colleges, we respectfully are seeing this differently.
Okay, and as you mentioned, those that participated in providing information to the fiscal note, you did not mention the Maryland Association of Community Colleges.
No,
Right.
but we did say the Maryland Higher Education Commission.
Okay, but the organization that represents all of the community colleges in the state is the one that has opposed this legislation. And again, I think we're going to look at amendment, but I want to make sure their testimony is that, again, while this change may not present challenges for every institution, for many community colleges, it would require reopening negotiated agreements. Is there anything in this bill that would allow the negotiated agreements that are already in place to stay there so that these are not having to be reopened?
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill just is a simple definition. It clarifies what supervisory means. It does not change the opening of negotiations. It does not say when someone needs to join the union. I mean, this is just a clarifying definition for what supervisory means, which is currently just not clear, and that's why the bill is needed.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. President, I think we're just going to take a look to make sure, and if we can talk to the Maryland Association of Community Colleges, I think what we want to make sure is that the agreements that are in place do not have to get changed as a result of this. If they going forward, maybe they would be changed, but there are a number of agreements that have been negotiated in place already, and I know it's on second reader here, and we could offer amendments on third reader, which we'll do to maybe clarify some of that language. So thank you very much.
All right. Are there any senators who have not yet spoken who wish to speak? If not, recognize the senator from the 38th on the favorable report.
Thanks. And just in an effort to continue to share real-time information, Dr. Casey from, again, the president of Warwick Community College, noted in her correspondence that this bill would remove the flexibility for any college to create the organizational structure that works for them if any of the currently unionized colleges faces a faculty union. It would immediately require the faculty be supervised by a position at the level of assistant dean or above. So again, I think this is important information that we need to factor in as we work on this bill.
All right, thank you. On the report, any further discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1433 is ordered passed for third reading. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1452, Delegate Holds, Economic Development, Prince George's County, Suitland Development Authority, established, favorable with 3 amendments.
Recognize the senator from the 22nd as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. HB 1452 establishes the Suitland Development Authority in Prince George's County as a body politic and corporate and an instrumentality of the state to generally promote the revitalization and economic development of the communities along the Suitland Road and Silver Hill Road corridors in Prince George's County. The bill also establishes a related special fund, and the governor must annually budget appropriations of a certain amount. The authority must be self-sustaining beginning in fiscal year 2036. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 conforms the bill to its Senate cross-file. There are no oppositions to the committee. I move the adoption of favorable amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader moves to the adoption of the 3 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. On the amendments, any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, 3 committee amendments are adopted. Question now is on the amended report. Any discussion? Any objections? Without objection, the amended report is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1452 is hereby ordered passed for 3rd reading. Madam Clerk, we're going to go to report number 62. 62. Mr. President, Pro Tem.
Senate Bill 60, Chair, Finance Committee, Fraud Prevention, Prevailing Wage, Living Wage Prohibitions, Penalties, and Enforcement, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the chair as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. Senate Bill 60 is a departmental bill that enhances enforcement provisions of the Workplace Fraud Act, Prevailing Wage Law, and Living Wage Law, and increases penalties for violations of those labor laws. There are 2 amendments. Amendment 1 is technical. Amendment 2 strikes provision making certain violations of worker misclassification laws a violation of the Maryland False Claims Act, requires a subcontractor to indemnify a general contractor for penalties resulting from worker misclassification violations, and limits the circumstances in which the Commissioner of Labor and Industry shall refer an investigation to the Attorney General. I move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the 2 committee amendments. And,
Mr. President, I just ask, I'm trying to read it on the computer. Can I just get the 1 hour layover? Because we haven't done the 3rd readers yet. Just give me 1 hour and we'll bring it back up.
Thank you.
Thanks.
We're happy to do that. Thank you.
Yeah, so recognized. Okay, on to the next bill. Clerk will read the bill.
Senate Bill 435, Senator Folden, Public Health, Methamphetamine and Xylazine Consumer Protection Act, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the minority whip as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Senate Bill 435, as amended, is identical to the House bill we just dealt with a little bit earlier, House Bill 417. It designates methamphetamine and xylazine as Schedule III controlled dangerous substances under the Maryland Controlled Dangerous Substances Act. There are 2 amendments. Amendment 1 is technical. Amendment 2 strikes the bill and amends it as specified. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Same questions, same request to special order this bill.
Mr. President, I wonder if we could use the layover here. If I could ask my friend from Montgomery County to use the 1 hour layover since it's amended.
We've already special ordered the other bill, so it makes sense just to have them moved together. Or we could lay it over. I'm fine.
We'll take the layover. Is that is okay? Yes.
But I'm assuming that may kick
We'll lay
the
over
next
under the
session
rule.
anyway. If it
Sure.
doesn't, if it
Until
comes up again, we
the
can
1
special
hour.
order.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
Okay.
Mr. President.
Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 552, Senator Charles, Economic Development, Prince George's County, Suitland Development Authority, established, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the senator from Prince George's County as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Ladies and gentlemen, Senate Bill 552 is the exact same cross-file as House Bill 1452, in which we just read across the floor. It establishes the Suitland Development Authority in Prince George's County as a body politic. There's the amendments alter the funding and membership provisions, and the First Amendment is technical, so I move the adoption of the amendments and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the 2 committee amendments and a favorable committee report. Any discussion? Senator recognizes
Yes.
from Prince George's.
Yes. Could you yield for a moment?
Floor leader yield for a question.
I better.
Senator may proceed.
Could you, hi. You know, a portion of Suitland is in the 24th Legislative District. Do you have a record as to who came to, from that community? Did the Suitland Civic Association agree to this? Or could you please tell me who came to testify in support of this? I'm not so sure that I'm privy to any information as pertains to the development of this group. It's important, but I'm just curious as to why the 24th Legislative District didn't have some input.
Thank you, Mr. President. This in front of the committee. I'm not certain who was at the committee hearing itself. I'm gonna try to look it up real fast. Park and Planning was at the hearing, and a few others were at the hearing. However, from my understanding from the senator from the 25th Legislative District, that he did consult with the Suitland Civic Association on multiple occasions just to make sure they were okay with it. I believe they might also have a seat at the table on the board of this community development organization as well.
Okay, so you do have information relative to who's going to be on this. Has it been established as to who's going to be on this board?
Yes. You want me? Would you like for me to list them to you, to the body?
The sponsor's not here, so perhaps I might want to have that conversation with him rather than to hold up the business of this of the Senate.
I'll just read, Mr. President, here. It does say one Suitland community member appointed by the Speaker of the House, one Suitland community member appointed by the President of the Senate. On the board itself. There'll be Suitland residents actually on the commission, on the board, directing the business of the new entity.
Okay. What elected officials? Do we have representatives from the council and from the House of Delegates?
Yes, so it says the Prince George, Mr. President, so it says the Prince George's County Council member who represents the target area to serve in an advisory capacity appointed by the chair of the Prince George's County Council. And I believe there's also someone from the Senate and the House that will be represented on this board too, in an advisory manner as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none. No objections to the amendments and no adoption. Question is now on adoption of the favorable committee report as amended. Are there any objections? If not, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, that bill is gone. Senate Bill 552 is ordered, passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 880, Senator Kramer, Part-Time State Employee Pilot Program, established, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, this bill is the cross-file to the good bill, House Bill 1248. We heard just a couple of minutes ago about trying to help folks find opportunities for part-time employment. Obviously, this bill is not going to go anywhere, but I move the amendments and the adoption of the favorable committee report. Thank you, Mr. President.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, are there any objections to the amendments? Seeing none, the committee amendments. Oh, yep.
I'd rise
Senator?
to ask a question. I'm interested by, I'm sorry for the floor leader.
Floor leader will yield to our question.
I'm interested by the statement that obviously this bill's not going to go anywhere. On what basis would you make that statement?
That it is 11:30 a.m. on sine die, and this bill has yet to pass out of this wonderful chamber and to even find its way to the House. So just allow me to say, keeping it real.
We all need to have one of your crystal balls. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that. Thank you, Mr.
All right,
President.
thank you. Are there any further discussion, any other objections? If not, the Favorable Committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, Senate Bill 880 is ordered passed to third reading. And we will move to report number 64, staying with finance.
House Bill 771, Delegate Miller, Health Occupations Human Trafficking Awareness Training, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from Carroll County.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. House Bill 771 requires each health occupations board to allow an applicant for license or certification renewal to receive continuing education credits for completing an approved human trafficking awareness training program and conducting outreach to make individuals regulated by the board aware of this human trafficking awareness training program option. By July 1st, 2026, the Department of Health, in collaboration and consultation with required stakeholders, must approve the required training program. No amendments, no fiscal impact, and I would move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 771 is ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 882, Delegate Kaufman, Consumer Health Information Termination Date Mandatory Funding for the State's Consumer Health Information Hub, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Colleagues, House Bill 882 repeals the June 30, 2026 termination date for the state's Consumer Health Information Hub and repeals the mandated appropriation to the hub. Instead, the hub must operate to the extent funding is available. An incredibly fiscally responsible bill before us. There are no amendments, no fiscal impact, and there was no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 882 is ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 945, Delegate Sample Hughes, Nursing Homes, Assisted Living Facilities, Notification of Investigations, favorable.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. House Bill 945 requires the Department of Health, when investigating a nursing home complaint alleging actual harm or immediate jeopardy to a resident, to notify the local health department for the county in which the nursing home is located within 24 hours. After initiating an investigation, to the extent practical and as permitted by federal law, MDH must consult and coordinate with the LHD on a complaint, investigation, and response. The bill also establishes a healthcare quality improvement initiative to be carried out by a task force staffed by MDH. There are no amendments. There's no fiscal amendment. There was no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 945 is ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1012, Delegate Fair, Public Health, Local Suicide Fatality Review Teams, authorization, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from Howard County.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 1012 authorizes a county or municipality to establish a multidisciplinary and multi-agency suicide fatality review team to prevent suicide deaths. The bill outlines, number one, membership of a local team, number two, requirements and recommendations for local team operations, and number three, requirements for the use of records and data. The Department of Health may adopt regulations. There are no amendments, no fiscal impact, no opposition. Move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1012 is ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1249, Delegate Hill, certified recovery residences refusing services to individuals receiving medication-assisted treatment, prohibition, favorable.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. House Bill 1249 specifies that the requirements established by a credentialing entity for certified recovering residents must prohibit a recovery residence from 1, refusing services to an individual based on the individual receiving medication-assisted treatment for opioid use disorder, and 2, requiring an individual to cease or modify how the individual receives medication-assisted treatment before the individual may receive services at the recovering residence. There are no amendments. There's no physical impact. There was no opposition at the committee hearing. I move the adoption of the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 1249 is ordered past the third reading. And we will now move to report number 37 from judicial proceedings.
House Bill 200, Delegate Lehman, sale of resident real property, required flood risk disclosure, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from Montgomery County. Sorry.
I'm surprised you couldn't see me in this very
It's
bright
so pink.
jacket.
It's so pink.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill requires, subject to specified exceptions and beginning July 1, 2027, a seller of real property to provide specified flood risk information to a purchaser before the parties enter into a contract. This requirement only applies to residential real property improved by four or fewer single-family units. By June 1, 2027, the Maryland Department of the Environment must develop and publish a real property flood risk disclosure statement form for use in connection with the bill's requirements. There are no amendments. I move the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 200 is ordered past the third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 493, Chair, Judiciary Committee, Judgeship, Circuit Court, District Court, favorable with 2 amendments.
Chair recognizes the chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. This bill alters the number of resident judges of the Circuit Court by adding 1 additional judgeship in St. Mary's County. The bill also creates 1 additional District Court judgeship in District 11 to be appointed from Washington County. There's 1 committee amendment, Mr. President. Amendment number 1 removes the additional Circuit Court judge from St. Mary's County. I move for the adoption of the 1 committee amendment and the favorable committee report.
Floor leader has moved for the adoption of the 2 committee amendments and the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Chair recognizes the chair. Floor
yes,
leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. After it's adopted, I just want to make a motion to suspend the rules to have 2 readings in one day. After we adopt the
Okay,
report.
after we adopt the report. Okay. The question now is on adoption of the favorable committee. I'm sorry. If there are any objections to the amendments, seeing none, the committee amendments are adopted. The question now is on the adoption of the favorable committee report as amended. Are there any objections? If not, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Chair recognizes the chair of the committee. Floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd like to suspend the rules and have 2 readings in one day.
Any objection to suspension of the rule? Hearing none. House
Mr.
Bill.
President.
There's an objection. Yep.
Just can you do this with an amended bill? Can you suspend the rules with an amended bill?
Yes, on third reading. From the opposite chamber, because this is coming from the House bill.
Okay.
Second to third, House bill.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yep. All right. House Bill 493. Clerk will ring the bells. What is the instruction?
Okay. Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? If not, the clerk will call the roll. Take the call. Sorry. With 45 votes in affirmative, House Bill 493 is Passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 557, Delegate Harrison, Occupational Licensing and Certificational Criminal History Predetermination Review Process, favorable.
Chair recognizes the senator from Prince George's County as the floor leader.
Thank you very much. This bill amends 1.209 of the Criminal Procedure Article to establish a predetermination review process under which an individual can request specified departments of state government to review the individual's criminal history to determine whether that criminal history would disqualify the individual from obtaining the occupational license or certificate being sought. The bill requires a department to use existing resources to conduct a criminal history review, but also authorizes a department to charge a fee of up to $100 per criminal history review. The fee must be waived if the individual's income is at or below 300% of the federal poverty level as determined by the district court. The bill imposes a reporting requirement on effective agencies, and the bill takes effect July 1, 2026 and terminates on June 30th, 2029. There are no committee reports, and so I move favorable on it.
Floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Chair recognizes the minority whip.
Wonder if I could ask the floor
Will the
leader
floor
for a
leader
question.
yield for a question?
Well, thank you. Well, actually, this is not rising on what you might think. I liked that we did this a few years ago. That if someone's trying to advance, has a criminal history, but is trying to become professionally licensed in some way, it's fair that they would be able to find out, hey, am I disqualified, so I don't waste the time and expense of applying. I guess what I'm trying to understand, I was looking at the bill, what is changing here? Because that's already allowed. So is it like a technical change, or what are we? Because I liked this when we passed it. It's a good reform.
So your question basically is there anything different from what was already in the existing law to what we're doing now? Can you?
I'm looking at the bill and I'm just trying to, is it adding? It's adding in the financial institutions article. So this section does not apply. Oh, the new language says that this section does not apply to a person who was previously convicted of a crime of violence, which was already in current law. Right. And this says applying for licensure or license under Title 11, Subtitle 6 of the Financial Institutions article. I confess, and then there's more here. An individual may file a request with the Department for review of the individual's criminal history to determine whether their history would disqualify them from obtaining occupational license. There's a lot of new language. It looks like it's repeating this. I'm just wondering what's changing about. Is it just the financial? It's precluding someone who's had. Oh, go ahead, please.
I'm getting information on that now. I don't think so, though. Can you repeat the question?
Yeah. In this bill? This program already exists where people can ask to have a determination made. Does my criminal history preclude me from having? From getting this type of license for an occupation. Right. We exempt out if you've had it looks like it's, I think it's sex offenses, or no, it's a crime of violence. You can't do this program, otherwise you can't. This bill has some language that's adding something about the financial services article, and then it's...
Oh, yes.
Okay, yes.
This bill simply gives more clarity to what can already be done. There's nothing different about it.
Okay, if the department determines an occupational license recipient will be denied an individual under the period, the department shall provide an individual with an explanation for its determination. Okay, they could submit a revised request if a year has passed. So it's allowing for maybe some additional. Okay.
It doesn't apply to the financial institution article at all. Title 11, Subtitle 6.
Can council tell us what is that? What is that? It's adding an additional restriction, which may be good. I'm assuming it's something dealing with some kind of financial fraud or securities.
Mortgage loan originators.
Okay. But just them. Okay. All right. Thank you. Mr. President Pro Tem, thank you. I do support the overall program, so it's good. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you so very much. Any further discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 557 is ordered passed to third reading. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 601, Montgomery County Delegation, Montgomery County Stop Sign Monitoring Systems Pilot Program, favorable.
Chair recognizes the Vice Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill authorizes for 3 years the use of stop sign monitoring systems on state and local highways located in school zone in the cities of Gaithersburg and Rockville. There are no committee amendments. Mr. President, I move the favorable committee report.
The floor leader has moved for adoption of the favorable committee report. Any discussion? Are there any objections to the report? If not, the favorable committee report is adopted. Are there any amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 601 is ordered past the third reading. And that concludes the calendar, and we will move on to a message from the House. Clerk will read the message.
First reading House bills. House Bill 1602, Delegate Griffith, County's No-Cost Preventive Cancer Screening for Volunteer Retired Firefighters, rules.
All right. Next, we will move to a committee from Education, Energy, and the Environment, report number 50. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 168, Delegate Vogel, Housing and Community Development, Affordable Housing, Educator, Workforce Housing, and Municipal Corporations.
Chair recognizes the senator from the 27th Legislative District as the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. House Bill 168 expands the purpose and eligible recipient of funding from the Housing Innovation Fund, Housing Innovation Pilot Program, and Neighborhood and Community Assistance Program, administered by the Department of Housing Community Development to support the development of educator workforce housing. There are two committee amendments. The first amendment is technical. The second amendment authorized a county board to consider the provision of educator workforce housing as a school purpose under the certain provisions of the law, and places limits on the school employees eligible for educator workforce housing. I move the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable committee report.
The floor leader has moved for adoption of the committee amendments and favorable committee report. Any discussion? If not, are there any objections to the amendments? Seeing none, the committee amendments are adopted. The question is now on adoption of the favorable committee report as amended. Are there any objections? If not, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 168 is ordered passed for third reading, and we will move to laid over bills number 41. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 191, Delegate Wims, Consumer Protection Retail Transaction for Essential Consumer Good Cash Payments. Question the adoption of the two committee amendments and the favorable report.
Question is on the adoption of the amendments.
Mr. President.
Chair recognizes the senator from, well, let's call it Cecil today.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had some questions on this bill at our, I guess, Friday about if stadiums were exempted, and also, I didn't get to it Friday, but also about food trucks. So I had a chance to talk with both the floor leader and the House bill sponsor, who said there were multiple exemptions, and both of those were included in the exemption. So my questions have been answered.
Okay. All right. So then the question then is, any objections to the amendments? Seeing none, the committee amendments are adopted. The question now is on the adoption of the favorable committee report as amended. Are there any objections? If not, the favorable committee report as amended is adopted. Are there any further amendments to the bill or its title? Seeing none, House Bill 191 is ordered past the third reading, and we will move to All right, so we'll move to laid over bill number 42. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 336, Delegate Addison, Criminal Procedure District Court issuance of summons and arrest warrants. Question is the adoption of the two committee amendments and a favorable report.
Chair recognizes the committee chair as the floor leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. We are still working amongst the committee on a few things. I wonder if we could special order this until the next second session.
Any objections? Hearing none, House Bill 336 ordered special order till the second session for today. All right. We can ring the bells for a quorum call for third readers.
Mr. President.
Okay. Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, well, almost? Yeah. Everyone recorded their presence. All right, so the clerk will call the roll. With 44 members present, we have a quorum established, and we will move to third reading calendar number 50. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 38, Delegate Queen, Financial Institutions Licensing of Affiliated Insurance Producer Mortgage Loan Originators on third reading for final passage.
All right, House Bill 38 is on third reading for final passage. If there are no further questions, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone wish to speak on the bill, on the vote?
Yes, on the vote, please.
Okay. You have 2 minutes to explain your vote.
Thank you very much. I won't take 2 minutes. I just wanted to, Delegate Queen is my colleague in District 14, and this is her last term in office. She's retiring after this session, so I just wanted to publicly thank my colleague for her years of service to District 14 and the citizens and the residents of Maryland. This legislation is just an example of how she's looking out for those folks, whether it comes to housing or financial assistance or mortgages. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. The clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 38 is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 85, Delegate Cherkoudian, Corporations and Associations Cooperative Limited Equity Housing Corporations Establishment.
Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone wish to change their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 35 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 38 is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 246, Chair Environment Transportation Committee, Video Tolls, Class G License, Trailer Vehicles Liability.
Clerk will take the call.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone wish to change their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 35 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 246 is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 264, Chair Government Labor and Elections, Maryland Data Privacy and Protection Act of 2026.
Clerk will take the call.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Does anyone wish to change their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 264 is declared passed. Clerk will call the next bill. Thank you.
House Bill 330, Delegate Kaufman, Maryland Legal Services Corporation Board of Directors membership.
House Bill 330 is on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will take the call.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, clerk will take the call. With 34 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 330, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 405, Delegate Terrassa, Condominiums, Homeowners Associations, Governing Documents, Electric Vehicle Recharging Equipment.
House Bill 405 is on third reading for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, clerk will take the call. With 32 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 405, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 456, Howard County Delegation, Howard County Alcoholic Beverages Gift Basket Permit.
House Bill 456 is on third reading for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 42 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 456, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 547, Delegate Farr, Income Tax Subtraction Modification, Enhanced Agriculture Management Equipment.
Mr. President.
Recognize the senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. With assent of the chair, could we special order this bill for 1 hour, please?
Any objections to this special order? Hearing none, House Bill 547 is special order for 1 hour. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 618, Delegate A. Johnson, Commercial Law, Self-Service Storage Facilities, Alterations.
House Bill 618 is on third reader for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 42 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 618, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. And we will now move on to third reading calendar number 51. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 698, Delegate Bondari, State Board of Morticians, Funeral Directors, Board of Operations, Regulation of Crematories.
House Bill 698 is on third reading for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 42 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 698, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 730, Delegate Corman, Business Regulation, Maryland Franchise Registration Disclosure Law, Alterations.
House Bill 730 is on third reading for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will take the call. Call the roll. Sorry.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 730, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 850, Delegate Bondari, Home Builders, Open Houses, Sales Representative Disclosure Requirements.
House Bill 850 is on third reading for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 850, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 956, Delegate Rosenberg, condominiums, buildings more than 40 years old, study.
House Bill 956 is on third.
President.
Chair recognizes the minority whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. I was just didn't mean to interrupt you. I just wanted to say, sometimes colleagues, sometimes folks on this side of the aisle vote no on something or get up and speak on something, and some of you all are like, what's going on here? What the heck is going on here? I just want to the ones that stick with you are the ones you miss. And back in 2022, one of the final days of session, we had a bill fly through here about condominiums. And I voted yes. It passed unanimously out of committee, passed unanimously here on the floor. I don't have that many condo associations in my district. And then 2 years later, I'm getting calls from all kinds of people because we basically required a very expensive thing for every little condo association, treating them the same as the largest one you have in Columbia. And it added a bunch of cost, and we've still been passing bills trying to fix the problem. And it was all aimed at not having something like happened in Florida happen at some big condo building. And I didn't catch it because we were fighting all these different issues, debating all these issues. And today, this bill is just a study. It's a study about condominiums more than 40 years old. It's asking the department to study it. And I'm going to vote no, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to vote no. Because I don't think we need to do studies, I think on this kind of issue, because I know what it's going to lead. Then it's going to lead to what we have to require for the 40-year buildings to do. If you're over 40 years, now you're going to have an extra thing you've got to do, and it's going to be passed on to your probably already pretty relatively middle to low income residents or seniors, because that's probably who's staying in a condominium building that's well over 40 years old. And so I just have an issue with sometimes things we do just to do them. And I'm sure there's good motivation behind it. And of course, the sponsor's a wonderful gentleman, so I'm not attacking the sponsor by any stretch of the imagination. But Mr. President, I think I tell you what, I think I'd like to special order this for the next session if I'd be able to, because I'd like to understand why we're doing this, because I'm worried about where it leads. So, Mr. President, I'd move to special order the bill to the appropriate time in the second session.
The floor leader, we'll hear from the floor leader.
Sure. Thank you very much, Mr. President. I'd resist the special order. This, again, as was alluded to, it's a study, but it's going to be an important findings that are going to help protect all of our constituents that are in these aging buildings. So I'd resist the special order.
Mr. President, I'll just press the special order and ask for a roll call on the special order. And I'm asking for a delay because as my colleague from the Judicial Proceedings Committee, again, I don't question anybody's motives, but I got to be honest, we already do a whole lot of regulation of condominiums, so I just press the special order and ask for a roll call.
All right, the senator has asked for a roll call. Clerk will call a roll on the motion to special order by Senator Reedy on House Bill 956.
President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote or explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 28 votes in the negative, the senator's motion fails.
Thank you, Mr.
Recognizing the minority whip.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since the body didn't want to delay, and I get it, I just want to say that I just think we need to be very careful about the long-term consequences of things we do. And I am, there's a lot of big issues we're now dealing with that including some major financial concerns for the state that we maybe didn't slow down long enough to really evaluate. So, Mr. President, my vote will be no on this bill. Again, no disrespect to the sponsor, but my vote will be no on this bill. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm going to vote yes on this because it is just a study. But I want to express my concern since I'll be leaving after tonight. We have passed during my 8 years in the Judicial Proceedings Committee dozens of bills about condominiums. I received an email message from a former delegate, a very good friend of mine, considered him a mentor when I was in the House last week, saying in their condominium association, they're having a hard time finding people willing to serve on the board because they're concerned about the time, all the legal requirements, the fact that they might be sued personally if they don't comply with every one of these legal requirements. We have gone above and beyond what is necessary to protect people. I'm not sure what the study is going to, it only deals to condominiums over 40 years old. We should, frankly, we should have a study about all of our condominium laws and make decisions which ones we really need and which ones aren't necessary. Because increasingly we are discouraging people from A, getting into condominiums in the first place, and B, serving on boards. We have some ladies who keep coming to our committee constantly who complain that they have to hire full-time lawyers to advise them what to do because of all the statutes we've passed relating to condominiums. It is a problem. So I'm going to vote for this bill because it's just a study, but I just let my colleagues know that when next year rolls around, we need to be very cautious about continuing down the road of passing requirement after requirement after requirement and imposing them on owners of condominiums. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Any other senators wish to be heard on the bill? Recognize the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. I just want to talk to the body about the condominium study because I do have a lot of condominiums in my district. A lot of townhouse condominium. And in one particular community, we've had to find the funds from our local development council to replace the roofs in this entire building because all the buildings, it's like 100 units, because no one was keeping an eye on the reserve study and the damage, and the units got to be like 35 or 40 years old, and the roofs were literally failing and falling in. So I think the reserve study, particularly on buildings more than 40 years old, is important so that people know what needs to be done and what needs to be repaired. In a condominium that I belong to, we had to double our rates this year to cover the work that needs to be done now that we've completed a reserve study. So I think this is really important, and I hope the body can support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Any other senators wish to speak on the bill? If not, House Bill 956 is on third reading for final passage. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 956, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 972, Delegate Miller, Maryland Fair and Agriculture Education Promise Fund establishment, on third reading for final passage.
House Bill 972 is on third reading for final passage. Is there any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President Pro Tem.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Would anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote?
Explain my vote.
Recognize the senator from the Lower Eastern Shore, explain her vote.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. Today, I am very proud to cast this vote for House Bill 972, the Maryland Fair and Agricultural Education Promise Fund, as part of our former colleague and dear friend, former Delegate Charles Otto. He fought for the shore. He fought for our farm families. He always thought about the future of farming in the state of Maryland. And this is a most appropriate and fitting legacy that we are casting a vote for ag education, and that it's named in our friend's honor, Delegate Charles Otto. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator, for your reflection. Chair recognizes the senator from Talbot County.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to explain my green vote. We will forever benefit and miss the presence of Delegate Otto. Charles Otto, a farmer, legislator, was unique in so many different ways, especially on days like today, sine die. He was a face that you always wanted to see. Maybe you didn't always want to hear, but you knew what he was saying he meant. And you knew when he was talking about agriculture that he was giving you the straight scoop. And we will forever miss his presence and his participation And with this, his presence will continue through agriculture education. And it's a great honor to put a green vote up there for a dear friend of mine and a person who very much respected the General Assembly and the legislative process in the state of Maryland. He was loyal to the core, and I appreciate that unanimous vote on the board. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore County.
Thank you, Mr. President. No, I wasn't in the House, but I had opportunity to have time with our good friend. And honoring him, I'm very happy that we have all green votes. Mr. President, I had time just to have lunch or dinner with him, and the times that I have, all I can remember is his smile. He was just a friendly person, but I can just remember his smile and his laugh because they were just one of a kind. So I just want to say I want to thank this floor, but the opportunity to vote green on this great bill for a good friend, Charles Otto. Thank you.
Chair recognizes the senator from Baltimore City.
Thank you, Mr. President. I got to serve 4 years over there with Delegate Otto on ENT, and when I think about Delegate Otto, he wasn't a man of many words, but one of the things was that I knew very clearly that he respected his body, he respected the people, established such a great friendship with him from two totally different spectrums of Maryland. But one of the things is that I truly believe that we learned from each other in the time that we spent, and thought that it was appropriate and important to say a few words about him. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. Chair recognizes the senator from Anne Arundel County.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. I had the pleasure of working with Delegate Otto for 12 years, and he was just always a delight to work with, and just always so helpful and very nonpartisan in his votes. And so I think it's wonderful that we're honoring him by naming House Bill 972 after him. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Recognize the senator from Cecil County.
Thank you, Mr. President. As a fellow member of the pretty small Farmers Caucus in the General Assembly, you know, Delegate Otto was very well respected. And, you know, this bill is very important because we've had an issue, you know, with a lot of the fairs, the FFA, different things were funded through unclaimed bets. As now we go to online stuff, there's very little money now. It keeps dwindling down. So having a distinct line in the budget, very well in his name, which is a great honor for him, a well-deserved honor, is very important for agriculture in the state of Maryland. I know he was a FFA officer, a lover of agriculture, and I'm just really proud to be able to put this green vote up.
Thank you, Senator. Any other senators wish to? Senator from District 4.
Thank you, Mr. President Pro Tem. So I'm proud to put up a green vote. I was fortunate to work with Delegate Otto for 4 years on environment and transportation after moving from judiciary. It's a different story. But when I was on environment and transportation, I learned a lot from Delegate Otto. I learned a lot about the farmers. I learned a lot about also, and through his team, where his office was right across the hall from mine with Jay Jacobs, and I learned a lot, so much more than just the agriculture, but aquaculture and all those things, because there was such a wealth of knowledge there. And he never had, one of the best things I remember about Charles is he never had a bad thing to say about anybody. He always had a smile. He just meander about. He'd always walk every morning, make that trek from down at the Marriott. And he's just a good man, a good person. And I think, you know, we could all learn a lot from just listening to and reflecting on somebody like that, that just doesn't have anything bad to say about anybody, respects everybody's, you know, position, and moves forward together for a better Maryland. And I think that bill helps mark that. So thank you.
All right, thank you, Senator. Any further senators wish to explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 972, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 980, Delegate Griffith, Family Law and Human Services Guardianship Assistance Program and State Foster Youth Ombudsman.
House Bill 980 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 980, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1152, Delegate Williams, Department of State Police, Special Police Officers, study.
House Bill 1152, third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1152 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1172, or Howard County Delegation, Howard County Economic Development Authority, alterations.
House Bill 1172 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1172 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1196, Delegate Long, Environment, Water Quality Testing, Secondary Maximum Containment Levels.
House Bill 1196 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1196 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Let's go to Senate bills. This is third reading calendar 85. 85. Clerk will read the first bill.
Senate Bill 504, Senator Lamb, David, Privacy, Consumer Data, Public Records, Message Switching System.
Senate Bill 504 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 35 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 504 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 790, Senator Lamb, Public Health Reform Act.
Senate Bill 790 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 790 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 949, Senator Kagan, Election Law, Absentee Ballot, State and Federal Requirements.
Senate Bill 949 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 35 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 949 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
Senate Bill 964, Senator McCray, Public Works Contracts, Apprenticeship Requirements.
Senate Bill 964 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 964 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. We've got some consent calendars. This is Senate third reading calendar number 46. 46. Clerk will read the bill.
third reading House Bill Calendar Number 46, Consent Calendar Number 17.
All right, Senators, these are third readers, unamended House bills out of judicial proceedings. Are there any bills that senators wish to separate? Yes, Senator from the 35th.
Can we separate HB 822?
822, 822. That will be separated. Any further? Any further? If not, on all bills but for HB 822, third reading, final passage, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, House bills on third reading calendar 46, consent 17, are received a constitutional majority and are declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 822, Delegate Bartlett, Circuit Court Clerks and Register of Wills, maximum salary.
House Bill 822 is on third reading, final passage. Recognize the senator from the 35th District.
Thank you, Mr. President. Would the floor leader yield for a question on this?
Floor leader. Out of judicial proceedings, Register of Wills. Potentially senator from the 44th? No? Chair of the committee? Senator, may proceed.
Thank you. We're moving through here pretty quick. I noticed this one had a little bit of opposition in the House. So this allows for a maximum salary. So can you tell us what number this changes from and to? The actual salary number, what would be the max salary for a circuit clerk of the court or a register of wills?
So, just get the right number here. So I'm just reading this from the fiscal note. So the future year expenditures reflect an annualization. The FY27 budget, as introduced, includes $651,000 for salary increases. That's not per person. General fund revenues decreased by 386 due to the impact of salary for the register of wills. So if you look at the fiscal note, it's 600, but it's spread throughout. Okay. So if you're talking about for an individual office, I couldn't tell you, but that's the number that's slated for this for fiscal 2027.
So that's statewide?
That's statewide.
Okay, thank you.
All right, House Bill 822 is again on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 822, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We have another consent calendar. This is 34. Clerk will read the calendar.
third reading House Bill calendar number 34, consent calendar number 16.
All right, these are House bills on consent calendar out of judicial proceedings. Please, senators, take a look at the list. Are there any bills that senators wish to take up independently? If not, all right, third reading, final passage. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 45 votes in the affirmative, House bills on calendar 34, consent 16 have received a constitutional majority, are declared passed. We have a conference committee report. This is going to be Senate Bill 18, Senate Bill 18. If we could read the bill.
Senate Bill 18, Senator M. Washington, State Board of Social Work Examiners, provision license to practice social work established.
All right, let's see. The chair of the conference committee. Can I see this conference report? Recognize the vice chair of the committee as the vice chair of the committee and chair of the conference committee report to describe the conference committee report.
Thank you, Mr. President. We came to an agreement with the House on some of the amendments, and so I move the adoption committee of the conference committee report.
The senators move for the adoption of the conference committee report. Yes, recognize the senator from the 42nd district.
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm looking at the conference committee report. It strikes the word "not," which is not an insignificant word to strike. So I'm wondering how this changes the statute. If we take the word "not" out, how does the statute change?
I think that's. I don't believe the.
I'm looking at the backside of the report.
Oh, I'm sorry, on the backside of the report.
The backside says the amendment, it says on page 4 in line 11, strike "not," which again is not an insignificant word. I wondered, what are we doing?
Mr. President, in that amendment, that's the phrase that count the hours towards the LCSWC, and so it just clarifies what the hours would count toward.
Okay, so then we're not going to count what?
we're not going to count the hours towards the LCSWC.
We are, because we're taking the word not out, we are going to count.
Correct.
Certain
Yes.
hours.
Sorry about that. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, question is remains on the adoption of the report. Yes, recognized Senator from District 4.
Just if I could ask the floor leader a question.
Senator, may proceed.
Was there a specific reason? Because when this came through, I remember we had a pretty good discussion about this bill and that we were looking to assist. If I recall correctly, we have a lot of pieces of paper, a lot of legislation moving, that we were trying to help with the social work examinations that if in the event, I guess, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to put this accurately on the record, but that if they were unable to pass the test for certification, that it would still allow them to work, I believe, up to 2 years. And then it's 1 year? 1 year with the supervision. So when you pass the exam, what is the criteria for the number of hours or for supervision? And the reason I'm asking, I'll go ahead and, for transparency, the reason I'm asking is it's important that once you pass the exam, that we have a certain number of hours for proper oversight and accountability and making sure that they're navigating it. So I thought the wording was appropriate. When you haven't passed the exam, but we're now creating a provision that allows you to continue working for up to a year while you move to continue to pass the exam. If you're getting credit for those hours, then we're creating no opportunity beyond the certification then potentially that they would just be all of a sudden certified and have no additional supervision for as their provisional license because all their hours would be met.
Thank you, Mr. President. So as the bill came in, it was originally proposed that individuals that sought to have this certification would not have to take the test in order to get certified as a social worker. In this case, we created an opportunity, a pathway where individuals could get up to 24 months of supervision. So they will receive supervision and they will still have an opportunity to take the test. In that process, we hope by having this 2 years of supervision and working on the job that they will gain the knowledge that's needed to successfully transition into the field of social work.
Yeah, and I support that. Like, I think it's a good idea. I mean, I spoke with the bill sponsor about it. I thought it was a good idea. My question and concern is that once they actually pass this, then what are the hours under the provisional license, or how long is there a provisional license beyond that? Because if we're striking not, where it says may not be counted toward the supervised experience required to qualify for a certified social worker or clinical license under 19-302, what are the certifications for the hours or for how long? Because that's the part I think we're basically deleting any of those requirements under this provisional license because they would have met it before they ever passed the exam.
No, if they pass the test, they will meet all of the qualifications that's already within the law. So once they pass the test, they met all of the qualifications to legitimately take on the full responsibility and the roles of a social worker.
But I think that's the important part, because when you're doing it and you haven't passed the test, you're not doing it as a full-fledged certified social worker. So part of that is almost like OJT, on the job training, but it should not be considered or counted towards the supervised.
I can speak to it.
Give us let the senator please. Senator has the floor, and then we'll recognize senator from the 43rd in just a moment.
By removing the word not, we're now taking out any of the licensing or the hours beyond passing the test. Because again, I want to say, normally, and this is what I'm asking is how many hours or how long after someone passes the social work examination test, is there a period of time after that they still have to act in the job before they're fully certified?
Yeah, no, Mr. President, I believe the gentleman from District 4 is confusing the issue. The supervision is leading up into the successful passage of the test. Once you pass the test, you've met the requirements.
Okay, I understand that for this bill, but currently, if you take the test right now and pass it, there's no provisional, there's no supervision,
Correct.
there's nothing beyond that that says like you have to meet so many hours, so many months under the authority, under a
Right.
provisional license. There's none of that. There's no window of time to have it pulled if they act inappropriately, like in the first year.
So the issue at hand is right now we have people that aren't successfully passing the test, right? And there's a lot of concern about why they're not passing the test. And so this bill essentially creates a pathway for individuals to be more successful. And so with the provisions that are put in is when people aren't successful, when they're not successful at passing the test, giving them an opportunity, as you described, to have the on-the-job training and the supervision to work towards successfully becoming a social worker.
Yeah, and I appreciate the efforts, and I appreciate, again, the idea behind the bill, because even in law enforcement, you go through, a 6-8 month academy, and then you're on probation for 18 months. That you could have your certification recalled at any time in 18 months. Are you saying that as a social worker, once they pass an exam, that there's no probationary period?
Mr. President, this makes no changes to current law. Once people pass the test, which is the Littman, it is the barrier to being certified as a social worker. The main parts of the bill is really when people aren't successful at passing the test.
Can I get an answer though about, is there a probationary period, much like many other certified, whether you're a police officer or things where you have to go through certain training, that would create the opportunity for them to pull back that certification within a year or 2 years or whatever that probationary period is? Is there no probationary period currently? Currently, is there a probationary period when someone passes the exam? Is there a probationary period beyond that they have to still be basically monitored and make sure they're doing things in the right manner?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I thought that the question was about the bill. This bill doesn't change any current law. And so yes, there currently exists a probationary period once you pass the test on a job, but this doesn't make any changes to that.
What is that current probationary period? Or is it like based on
It's after 3,000 hours.
Okay, so that's my point, is that this bill, by striking not, then makes the time that they're not certified but practicing under a provisional license, that it makes all those hours countable towards, for up to 24 months, you said, for 2 years not being certified, it would make all those hours countable towards this certification. And I don't know that that's the angle this body should be taking, because we want to make sure that once they are officially certified, that they, by striking that word not, that is a substantive change. And now we're saying that all the hours that you put in for 2 years leading up to that, and on the average work year, there's 2,080 hours. So within the probationary period of never being certified, that at the moment they take that test, that they could have a certification and have no supervisory recall on their certification, because they would have already met all the hours. And I don't think that's the angle this body should be taking with this licensing. I think the original crafting of it was appropriate. It was meaningful. It allowed them to get this licensing, but by allowing them to get certified the moment they pass the test without ever actually being certified and licensed to have any probationary period of evaluation beyond that time is not good policy, and we don't do it for other areas of the law that require certain clinical or oversight where there's a recall for probationary period, and I don't think it's good policy to do it on this one. This is way too important of an issue. These social workers are working with our most vulnerable in the communities. We need to be able to have this recall in place in the event that they finally get certified, and I'm glad that we're making this opportunity to furlough that for 2 years. But if we do this, we are literally recalling and canceling out any probationary period for recall should they act outside the scope of which already took them up to 2 years to pass for the certification anyways. That should not be the policy of this body. And Mr. President, with that, I would ask that, I would ask that we not concur, because I guess under the conference committee, we can only up or down. Is that correct?
That's correct,
So
Senator.
I just want to put it on the body's radar that there's no other certified social work, nobody else that anybody can think of where we have a certified examination with a provisional probationary period for recall for meaningful actions that where people are dealing with our most vulnerable anywhere in the code. And the way it was written with the word not was appropriate. It allowed them to get OJT, to prepare, to pass the exam, and then it allowed proper oversight and supervision for their 3,000 hours of certification, a year and a half, 18 months, to be able to pass and then be signed off as a full-fledged clinical social worker to work in our communities because they're trusted. If we allow these hours when they've never even been certified, that is bad policy, and that is not the way this body should be moving. And with that, I would ask that the body not concur, Mr. President. Thank you.
All right. The question before the body is the adoption of the conference committee report. So it's that is the question before the body. All in favor of the report say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. The ayes have it. Conference committee report is adopted. Senate Bill 18 is again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. The clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? Yes, recognize Senator from District 4. It's 2 minutes to explain his vote.
I don't know where this stops. This is bad. This is bad policy. I just spelled this out very clearly on why this is bad policy, and we don't seem to care about it. We're just like, we're going to let more move, and we're not going to have any probationary recall period. And what we're going to have is we're going to have bad actors within our most vulnerable community because there wasn't an opportunity to recall their certification, and that's not good policy. That's not good policy. The reason we have the training standards that we have, post-certification, is good policy. And it's nowhere else in the code are we allowing, and if somebody else can show me, I'd love to see it, but nowhere else in the code are we allowing someone that requires a certification of 3,000 hours, 18 months of work, to OJT and allow that to count towards their full-fledged certification to deal with our most vulnerable communities. And with that, I can't support this. I had supported it in its original posture. I can't support it the way it is now.
Thank you, Senator. Recognize Senator from the 43rd. There's 2 minutes to explain your vote.
First of all, I want to thank the committee. We've been working on this for 3 years, maybe 4, maybe 5, actually, I think. And really, Maryland is taking a very conservative approach here. There are actually currently 6 states that have removed the exam entirely. As soon as you graduate, you will get your licensing. They've removed it for the master's and the bachelor's level. There are multiple states that have reduced or alternative exam requirements. And Mr. President, I'm just giving this information to affirm my vote because we are, again, California, Illinois, Rhode Island, Minnesota, number of states have provisional and temporary licenses, and ours is the only one, actually ours is the one that requires the most number of supervision hours. Ours is the only one does not allow to be automatically renewed and then requires the exam at the end of the period. Again, this is the most cautious and I think appropriate at this time, and so that's why I have my green vote up and thank everybody for the work, and especially the social workers who will now be able to provide good care to our communities across the state.
All right, clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 18 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We have the cross file of this. If we could pull up the conference report for House Bill 769. 769, Madam Clerk. Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 769, Delegate Wood, State Board of Social Work Examiners, provisional license to practice social work, established. Conference committee report.
Recognize the Vice Chair of the committee as the Chair of the Conference Committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. This bill is consistent with the Senate bill that we just passed, so I move the adoption of the Conference Committee report.
All right, the Senator moves to the adoption of the Conference Committee report. All in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. The Conference Committee report is adopted. House Bill 769 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 769 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. We've got another Conference Committee report. This is House Bill 1118. Oh, I'm sorry. Senator from District 9?
Could I make a quick introduction?
Senator may proceed.
Thank you so much.
Very quickly, please.
Colleagues, Amy Lang has been with the Joint Committee on Cyber, IT, and Biotech, and I'd just like to invite her to stand and give her a warm welcome. She has been working with us all year on looking at what we're doing, what we could be doing with artificial intelligence, both in bill drafting and in our Senate offices, and I'd just like to thank her for her hard work.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Madam Clerk will read the bill.
House Bill 1118, Delegate White Holland, Health, Health Insurance and Health Occupations, Perinatal Behavioral Health Conditions.
Recognizing the Chair of the Conference Committee, Senator from the 33rd, on the report.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Conference Committee receded to the House's position on this, and I would move to adopt the Conference Committee report.
All right. Senators move to adopt the Conference Committee report. Recognize the Senator from Montgomery County.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very quickly, this is a good bill. The conference landed on a good place. I know the Conference Committee chair has put a lot of work into this, and especially the delegate from Baltimore County. Perinatal health is a critical aspect, and I'm so proud to register my green vote.
Thank you, Senator. All right. Any further discussion on the report? Any objections to the adoption of the report? Without objection, the Conference Committee report is adopted. House Bill 1118 is again before the Senate on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1118, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Okay. Let's get some of these out of the way. All right. We've got House Bill 175. House Bill 175. And we're going to go to the chair of the committee.
House Bill 175, Delegate Ziegler, Income Tax Credit, Venison Donation, Alteration.
All right, recognizing the chair of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. President. The House amendments doubled the tax credit from $300 to $600. We recede.
All right, the chair moves that we are going to recede. So we have to take a couple steps here. This is our frustrating ones, but. First, I think the chair would like to reconsider the vote by which the bill passed third reading.
I'd love to do that.
All right. Any objections? Without objection, the bill having been reconsidered is on third reading. The chair would like to reconsider the vote by which the amendments were adopted.
I'd love to reconsider the amendments.
Any objection to that reconsideration of the amendments? Without objection, so ordered. And now, I believe the senator wishes to withdraw the Senate amendments.
Let's get rid of those Senate amendments.
All right. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered, which means House Bill 175 is again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 175, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk, read the message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, delegates. The Senate recedes from its position in House Bill 175. Said bill is returned to air with by order Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
Message having been read is adopted. All right, let's take up some of these House bills on third reader. This is calendar 5252. Clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 1267, Delegate Lehman, Patuxent River Research Refuge, Beltsville Agriculture Research Center zoning classifications on third reading for final passage.
House Bill 1267 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1267 has received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1276, Delegate Woloch, West North Avenue Development Authority Neighborhood Social Connection Development Program on third reading for final passage.
House Bill 1276 on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1276 has received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1279, Delegate Ruff, Catalytic Revitalization Projects Tax Credit Alterations.
House Bill 1279 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1279 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1286, Delegate Baylor, Anne Arundel County Alcoholic Beverages, Barber Shop, and Beauty License.
House Bill 1286 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 44 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1286 has received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1292, Delegate Bagnall, Child Advocacy Center's continuity of care standards for healthcare professionals and reports of violations.
Recognize Senator, House Bill 1292 is on third reading, final passage. Recognize the Senator from District 4.
Mr. President, I was wondering if I might be able to special order this for the purposes of an amendment for the next session or.
All right, Senator has moved to special order the bill. Are there any objections? Are there any objections? Without objection, the bill will be special ordered to the appropriate time in the next session. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1466, Delegate Wilms, Department of Housing, Community Development, Appraisal Gap from Historic Redlining, Financial Assistance Program.
House Bill 1466, third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1466 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1474, Baltimore County Delegation, Baltimore County Alcoholic Beverage License Transfers and Conversions.
House Bill 1474 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1474 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1526, Carroll County Delegation, Carroll County Alcoholic Beverages Class 1 Distillery on-premise consumption.
House Bill 1526 having, is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1526 having received constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1582, Chair Ways and Means Committee, Education Program of Educational Accountability, alterations on third reading for final passage.
House Bill 1582 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 36 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1582 having received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Let's go to 53, calendar 53. Clerk, read the first bill.
House Bill 321, Delegate Lehman, Environment, Synthetic Turf Industry and Disposal Study.
House Bill 321 is on third reading, final passage. Recognize the Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Just a quick question for the floor leader.
Floor Leader on 321, House Bill 321. Nope, 321. Recognize the Vice Chair of the committee as the floor leader.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
May proceed.
Thank you. Just a quick question. This was a report that the Department of Environment was supposed to do on synthetic turfs. The bill said originally it would be required to be completed before July 1st, 2026. Was it just not completed, and that's why we're
That's exactly right. They just asked for an extension. This was modest. I don't have the folder with me, but if memory serves, I think it's a 7-month extension to January of 2027. We thought that was fine, and then we'll have the information in time in case the General Assembly wants to take action.
Did they give any reason why they couldn't do it on the original time frame that we asked
Not
them?
that I can recall.
Okay.
But it seemed a reasonable request.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator.
All right, on the bill, third reading, final passage. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 38 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 321 I received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 328, Prince George's and Montgomery County Delegation by Country Commission, Public Ethics, Financial Disclosure Statements.
House Bill 328 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 328 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 357, Delegate Palakovich-Carr, Municipalities Election Dates Report Requirements.
House Bill 357 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 357 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 423, Prince George's County Delegation, Prince George's County Public High Schools.
House Bill 423 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 423 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 833, Delegate Boyce, Commission to Advance Lithium-Ion Battery Safety.
House Bill 833 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 833 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 870, Delegate Corman, Environment Permit Application for New Buildings.
House Bill 870 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 38 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 870 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1171, Howard County Delegation, Howard County Board of Education, Student Member.
House Bill 1171 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1171 have received a constitutional majority is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1530, Delegate Warman, Higher Education, Undocumented Students, Out-of-State Tuition.
House Bill 1530 is on third reading, final passage. Recognize Senator from the 42nd District on the bill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had some questions about this. I wonder if the floor leader could rise and answer them.
Recognize Senator from the 27th.
Now, I'm just reading what it says in my notes. It says this applies to undocumented students, out-of-state tuition exemption eligibility. Am I correct that what this bill does is says that undocumented immigrants who live in other states who want to come to Maryland to get an education are eligible for an exemption from the higher out-of-state tuition they would otherwise pay?
So to qualify, these are students from Maryland that graduate from Maryland high schools. So no.
Why would it say out-of-state tuition exemption? Oh, so this is if Maryland undocumented immigrants who graduate from Maryland schools and are going to schools out of state. No? Would you explain the bill, please?
So to qualify for the exemption from paying out-of-state tuition, a student must have attended a public or non-public secondary high school in the state, have graduated from a public or non-public high school in the state, or received the equivalent of a high school diploma in the state, register as an entering student in public institution of higher education in the state no later than 6 years after graduating from high school or receiving the equivalent qualification in the state, and provide to the public institution of the higher education documentation that the individual or individual parents or guardians has filed the Maryland income tax return annually for the 3-year period before the academic year in which the tuition rate will apply in the state.
Oh, it's in the state, so why would my notes talk about out-of-state tuitions?
I'm not sure on your notes.
Okay, all right. Maybe somebody else can pick that up and run with it. Thank you.
All right, we're going to Senator from District 5.
Thank you, Mr. President. And I think if the floor leader could continue to yield, we might be able to bring some clarity. Right now, if you were until we passed in-state tuition for illegal undocumented immigrants, which was way back in like 2011, someone who's here undocumented, someone who's here illegally, could not go to Maryland's universities or community colleges without paying out-of-state tuition. We changed that law and said, I believe the first change was that you had to have been here, I think, for a long period of time and paid Maryland taxes. And now, then a few years ago, we switched it to no, you only have to have been here and you only have to have graduated from a high school, even if it was for 1 year, but that your parents had to have paid Maryland income taxes for 3 years. This bill, as it originally came in, was trying to just get rid of that requirement altogether in the House. As amended, I don't know if it's amended here or amended in the House, but now it's just taking it from 3 to 2 years, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Well, I got to be real honest. I mean, why do we continue to water down this? This is a continued watering down of any sort of rule that you be in this country legally at all to benefit at all. I mean, the floor leader, I'm sure, would dispute that assertion. But to me, that's a concern here. What was wrong with 3 years of tax returns? And it shows that at least you're here, living, committed to being here. Did the committee discuss whether it was wise to do that?
Yeah, so at the end of the day, so any student a student that moved here a year ago should be able to qualify for the out-of-state tuition. They shouldn't be penalized based off of the 3-year tax return. That's why.
Okay. But the bill doesn't but they can't, because the bill just says it's 2 years of tax returns.
That's correct.
So this will be, they can't just have, they would not have moved here last year. They'd have to have moved here 2 years ago.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for the answers. Mr. President, just to expound a little further on this bill, I mean, we're going to be talking a little bit about something a lot more serious, but again, once again, at a time, by the way, when many students with really good grade point averages cannot get into the University of Maryland and some of our other fine universities, we're watering down the requirement even further for someone who is here illegally. Now, obviously, a student that's 17, 18, applying to college, they may have been brought here by their family. I mean, obviously, it's not, we certainly understand the desire to give them some different opportunities than we might give, although in this state, we don't seem to make much distinction about that either. But at least in this case, like, hey, we want to be able to have you, we're going to educate you in our high schools. We want you to be able to, go to an in-state school. But gosh, we're watering it down to the point where basically there's somebody could move here a couple of years ago and just kind of take advantage of the largesse of the Maryland taxpayers and and take up another spot from students of ours who are either legal residents that are immigrants or citizens of our state. And it's just bill is, I mean, the idea that you would have gotten rid of any requirement in this bill, which is not how it is on the floor, is crazy. But then to think that we're going to, 3 years of tax returns is not a lot. I mean, it basically shows you've been here for most of your high school career is all we're asking. and now we're changing it to say 2 years. I just think it's very bad policy for our state. And again, I know I've had discussions with other members who very concerned about the way that it's incredible. We're losing University of Maryland. We're losing the Maryland-ness of University of Maryland. They're taking so many out-of-state students. We're of course losing a lot of students to southern schools where it's already more affordable and better climate and environment for young people who want to enjoy life. So it's already hard for us here. We really need to, I think it's really unwise for us to further water down what is a pretty basic requirement of, if you're going to be here as someone who is here illegally in this country and you're living in Maryland, to not require that at least 3 years of tax returns generate water this state of 2 years, and we know next year it'll be coming back to basically get rid of the requirement. I think the body should vote no on this. But Mr. President, I feel like it might be a good opportunity for us to consider this a little bit more. Maybe we could special order this for the second session, because I think there may be more debate here on this side of the room.
All right. Did Senator move to special order? Is that what
I did.
Recognize the floor leader on the motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I urge the body to resist the special order. As mentioned, this bill only reduces the number from 3 to 2, and we're talking about tax-paying Mariners.
All right. On the motion.
I just moved for roll call that motion, Mr. President. I think it would be good to have the body consider a little bit more of the path that we're on.
All right. On the motion, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 30 votes in the negative. The senator's motion fails. The bill is still before the body on third reading. For final passage, recognize Senator from District 5.
Thank you, Mr. President. I ask the body to vote no. Vote no on behalf of just the taxpayers of our state. Vote no on behalf of our students in Maryland who have trouble getting into places like the University of Maryland. I know there's been work in the Budget Committee to try to address that issue, but you got students with 4.0 averages that are getting turned away from our flagship university. But here we are, just rolling out the wagon to try to make it even easier for people who have been brought here breaking the law. Not that this young people is necessarily their fault, but they're not here legally, and we're now watering these requirements down even further. Mr. President, my vote will be no on this bill.
All right. On the recognize the senator from District 19.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just have to speak quickly about the assertions we just heard from the minority whip. Look, I would first of all challenge the minority whip to document a single individual who somehow was rejected from an opportunity to attend any of our Maryland universities by virtue of the legislation that is before us, because that's just a ludicrous assertion. And I would also just simply say that when any of us have any of our family, our friends, or ourselves being treated by a physician at a time when we are experiencing an illness who happen to have come here undocumented, but because of the legislation that we're passing like this, good, solid legislation to ensure that they are going to have the skill set to help all of us in the future, I don't think any of us will be questioning how it is they got their education and learned the skills to save those of us who are in need of their services. With that, I will be very pleased to put up a green vote. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, recognize the majority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I can't believe we're still having this argument. We have been talking about this, I think, since I came to the legislature 100 years ago. And number one, the one question that I ask the people that are opposing this bill is, do you want to have students that are here who are non-educated because we have put this door in front of them? Or do we want to educate everybody that is living here and giving them the chance to make our country better? Everybody should be able to do that. We have talked about this thing for so long that I'm just amazed. But 75% of the students at the University of Maryland are in-state students, just saying. So there aren't a bunch of people that are being squashed out of their classes. That just isn't happening from wherever you're hearing it. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. All right, third reading, final passage. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1530, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. The third reading, final count. Let's go to number 62. We're going to try and focus on things that have another step, just so the folks know. So, clerk will read the first bill.
House Bill 564, Delegate Allen, pet cremation and burial services requirements.
All right. House Bill 564 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? Yes, recognized senator from the 28th.
Yeah, Mr. President, colleagues, with this bill, I will cast a red vote on it. I did that in committee. The penalties bring in enhanced misdemeanor to someone who mistreats remains of a pet, brings them in line with the same penalties for human beings. I love my pets. I've had dogs over the years. Precious Bichon named Popcorn, and beloved family pet. And when he passed, I really cried and shed a tear because I really missed that dog we've had from a puppy. But at the same time, this bill elevates the treatment of an animal which is classified as property, the same penalty as the treatment of human remains. And I believe that equation is wrong. It's sending the wrong message. And that's why I will cast a red vote to this bill.
All right. Third reading, final passage. Recognized senator from the 22nd.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. This bill, came to us because, there's family members out there that had their dog cremated, asked for the remains, received the remains, and then in those remains, they found out it was only sand. It wasn't that of the dog that passed. To me, that's heartbreaking for that family and anyone. These penalties are aligned with that criminal activity that has occurred for that family. It is appropriate, and it's something that we should pass, and so I'll be voting green on this bill. Thank you.
All right. Third reading, final passage. Clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 564, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 611, Prince George's Delegation, Prince George's County Alcoholic Beverage Fees.
House Bill 611 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 45 votes in affirmative. House Bill 611 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 894, the Speaker Land Use Transit Oriented Development Alterations.
House Bill 894 is third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 43 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 894 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1081, Delegate Corman, Maryland Transit Administration Reform Act.
House Bill 1081 is on third reading, final passage. Recognize the minority leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just if the floor leader could yield for a quick question.
Floor leader out of finance. Recognize the chair of the committee.
This is the best.
Hello there.
Thank you, Mr.
Nice
President.
little conversation we could have. I'm just trying to remember, because this was heavily amended in Finance Committee. There were two main concerns that dealt with procurement and quick take condemnation. Do you remember if we took those out? Is that accurate?
We did. Yeah.
Okay. And then from respect to that, it essentially just set up this this authority within, it's not changing any procurement laws, is that?
It is
that's-
not
that's what- we
changing
didn't do that either.
procurement laws.
Okay, that's what I thought, wanted to verify. Thank you very much.
You're welcome, thank you.
All right. On the third reading, final passage, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. 45 votes in the affirmative. House Bill 1081 have received a constitutional majority. Is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1109, Chair, Health Committee, Public Health Reform Act.
House Bill 1109 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? Oh, yes, I'll recognize the chair of the committee.
Mr.
Has
President,
an amendment?
the committee has an amendment on.
All right,
1109.
pages will collect and distribute the senator's amendment. Give us just one moment, make sure we have the right one. All right, Senator may explain the amendment.
Thank you, Mr. President. This obviously was amended in the House, and it adds a study on the public, I'm sorry, I've lost the name of it. It adds an amendment on a study, community benefit study that we already do. HSCRC already does it. We didn't feel like it needed to be added in the uncodified language on this bill. So we asked for support for the amendment.
All right, Chair has moved the amendment. Any objections to the amendment? Any objections? Without objection, the amendment is adopted. House Bill 1109 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. 33 votes in the affirmative. House Bill 1109 have received constitutional majorities declared passed. Clerk, read the next bill.
House Bill 1533, Delegate Alston, Public Health, Cosmetic Products Enforcement Penalties for Prohibited Ingredients.
House Bill 1533 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 33 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1533, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1557, Delegate Solomon, Procurement, Real Estate Advisory Committee, and Property Acquisition.
House Bill 1557 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 1557, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Clerk will read the next bill.
House Bill 1581, Chair Appropriations, Economic Development, Horse Racing Facilities, Prince George's County.
House Bill 1581 is on third reading, final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President,
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote. If not, the clerk will take the call. 47 votes in the affirmative. House Bill 1581 have received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Recognize Senator from District 2. Nope.
Yes, Mr.
Oh,
President.
Senator from 38th. Yes.
Vote change on House Bill 894, yea to nay.
894, yea to nay. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. All right, we have another conference committee report. This is Senate Bill 159. 159. Clerk will read the bill, and the pages will distribute the report.
Senate Bill 159, Senator A. Washington, Emergency Medical Services, Vehicles, and Ambulances Required Supplies.
All right, we need the chair of the conference committee. Chair of the conference committee. This is a bill. Can I have the, can I please have the recognized senator from the 23rd as chair of the conference committee.
Yes, we have agreed on, we've agreed.
Can Senator please provide an explanation of the agreement?
There was a technical amendment that we all agreed to, Mr. President.
All right. Recognize the senator has moved the conference committee report. Recognize the senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I had gotten some calls from my county about concerns about the amount of equipment this was required. Did you guys address any of that?
I'm going to ask my colleague to speak on that.
All right. Yields to the senator from the 22nd.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Yes, all those were addressed. There's no, the amended version only says there's coordinating efforts on the equipment that would be used for those, for the vehicles themselves. There's no fiscal note for any entity.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. All right, thank you, Senators. All right, the question remains on the Conference Committee report and the adoption. Any objections to the adoption? Without objection, the Conference Committee report is adopted. Senate Bill 159 is again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 47 votes in the affirmative, Senate Bill 159, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. All right, let's go to House Bill 107. 107 is another Conference Committee report.
House Bill 107, Delegate Allen, Motor Vehicles Intelligent Speed Assistance System Pilot Program Establishment.
Recognizing the Vice Chair as the Conference Committee Chair.
Thank you, Mr. President. The conference has met. We took technical amendments from the House and the data privacy amendment from the Senate. Move the Conference Committee report.
All right. The Chair of the Conference Committee moves the Conference Committee report. Recognize Senator from District 5.
Mr. President, I wonder if the Chair of the Conference Committee can yield for a question.
Happy to.
Senator, may proceed.
Mr. President, first of all, point of order, if we ever chair a conference committee, are we allowed to put that on our stationery? That's a question we've had from...
The cost might be too high, Senator.
So it's a little
on the
much.
virtual,
Okay. Have
maybe.
to keep changing it.
Virtual
Yes.
letterhead, maybe.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President. I'll remember that. I don't know that it'll ever make me chair of anything, but that's fine. So in all seriousness, it seems like there's just a couple of people didn't sign the report. So can you just talk about what the compromise was, and maybe if there's a disagreement about the compromise?
So there's no disagreement. The chair of the House chair of the conference committee was looking for speed. And so when the chair, who is perhaps a little less experienced, got the 4 signatures, he moved it in order to make sure that his bill moves by sine die. So okay. I have spoken with the 2 other members of the Senate conference report to indicate to them what the House chair did. To my understanding, there was no disagreement.
Okay.
And it was done solely for speed.
Okay, and so this is essentially, I have to be honest, I'm trying to remember we've done a couple of things dealing with speed cameras and
Sure.
speed assistance. Is this the one that allows, that would say if you've been caught speeding at a high rate of speed, that you can get essentially a breathalyzer, but not a breathalyzer on your car? Is that
Not just a high
capturing
rate of speed, a reckless rate of speed as defined under the statute. You can opt in, instead of your license being suspended, you can have one of these installed in your vehicle.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator. All right, any further discussion on the Conference Committee report? If not, any objections to the report? Without objection, the Conference Committee report is adopted. House Bill 107 is again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 38 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 107, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. Before we jump to the next order of business, we have in the gallery above us, above the Verta-Welcome painting, a number of our fiscal note writers who do amazing work. I think about 10 or so of fiscal note writers. If we could just give them a very, very big welcome and thank you for the work they've done this session. They get a lot thrown at them, more bills than ever, and they really do some thoughtful analysis. It's incredible. So thank you all. Thank you. Yes, Senator from the 22nd.
Thank you, Mr. President. Since we're making announcements, I would like
Senator, may proceed.
Thank you. I would like to announce one of my mayors, Mayor of New Carrollton, Felicia Nimhard, who's here with us, as well as her staff, who is here with us as well. Miss Williams is here with us too. I wish we can give her a warm Senate welcome as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any further announcements there? Let's see. We have actually. We have some more motions to recede potentially here. Let's go to, where are we? House Bill 717. 717. This is out of Budget and Tax.
House Bill 717, Delegate Edelson, Baltimore City Raffles, organizations affiliated with professional baseball teams. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates refuses to concur in the Senate amendments and respectfully requests the Senate recede from its position. Said bill is returned by order. Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
The message having been read is ordered journalized, recognizing the chair of the committee.
We'd like to recede.
All right, the senator would like to recede on the.
The House amendments change the termination date to 3 years.
All right, the senator moves to reconsider the vote by which the bill passed third reader.
Yes, I do.
Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Chair moves to reconsider the vote by which the amendments were adopted.
Reconsider.
Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Senator moves to withdraw the Senate amendments.
Love to withdraw them.
Any objections to the withdrawal? Without objection, so ordered. House Bill 717 now is again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, the clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote, explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 46 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 717, having received a constitutional majority, is declared passed. The clerk will read the second message.
By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate recedes from its position on House Bill 717. Said bill is returned by order. Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
Message having been read is adopted. All right, we have another one. This is House Bill 663. House Bill 663. Clerk will read the bill and the message.
House Bill 663, Delegate Rosenberg, Department of the Environment, Federal Environment Policy Reporting. By the Majority Leader, ladies and gentlemen of the Senate, the House of Delegates refuses to concur in the Senate amendments and respectfully requests the Senate recede. Should the Senate prefer a conference committee to confer on the disagreeing votes, the House appoints Delegate Stein chair, Delegate Frazier Hidalgo, Delegate Anderson. Said bill is returned by order. Sylvia Siegert, Chief Clerk.
All right. Message having been read is journalized, recognizing the chair of the committee.
Yes, Mr. President. This, just a little background, the bill requires the Maryland Department of Environment to report to the General Assembly by July 1, 2026, and every 6 months thereafter on any legally valid changes in federal environmental policy and any steps the state has taken to respond to such changes. The Senate added an amendment to require the report include a federal policy changes related to nuclear power. If you recall, the House has asked us to recede, which is the message. Mr. President, so after some conversations with the MDE on this amendment, these changes, when you're talking about nuclear power, and I think the chamber, we're moving that direction, the reality is that, that it's regulated by the federal government, whether it's the Nuclear Energy Regulatory Commission, Environmental Protection Agency, and most of all that is solely within the purview of the federal government, and the Maryland Department of Environment says that this particular amendment that we put on, it really is outside the scope of their authority to do any kind of a thorough analysis. And for that reason alone, I know this was an amendment put forward by, I believe, from the Minority Whip. We are going to the Triple E wants to recede from its position on that particular amendment for those reasons, Mr. President.
All right, the chair is moved to reconsider the vote by which the bill passed third reading. On that motion, recognize the Minority Whip.
Mr. President, there's something that may come up later that I will be very forceful in standing against. On this one, even though I don't really totally agree, I actually would like to be magnanimous and say I get that it maybe isn't completely germane. I do think we should be looking at everything we can on nuclear energy and expanding it. So I'm still gonna vote against the bill, but I was gonna vote for the bill with it in there, but I'm gonna vote against the bill now. But I understand the amendment, and so thank you, Mr. President.
All right. Question remains on the motion to reconsider the vote by which it passed third reading. Any objections? Without objection, the motion carries. The chair moves to reconsider the vote by which the amendments were adopted. Any objections to the motion? Without objection, the motion carries. Chair again motions to withdraw the Senate's amendments. Any objections? Without objection, the amendments are withdrawn. House Bill 663 is again before the Senate on third reading for final passage. Any discussion? If not, clerk will call the roll.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their vote? Anyone wish to change their vote? Explain their vote? If not, the clerk will take the call. With 34 votes in the affirmative, House Bill 663 is on third reading has received a constitutional majority and is declared passed. Too many things flying right now. There's too many things. All right, we are going to pause today. But before we do that, we have some important things. We have to read the message. Clerk, read the message.
By the majority leader, ladies and gentlemen of the House of Delegates, the Senate recedes from its position. Said bill is returned by order Nicole Alexander, Secretary.
Message having been read is adopted. Thank you, Madam Clerk, and thank you, Madam Secretary, for pointing out my mishap. We are going to come back. Let's see, it's 1:30 now. Let's say 3 is going to be 3:15. 3:15. We'll do 3:15. We're going to have a number of conference committee reports that are coming over. So we've really asked the House to move on some of the Senate bills that are amended. So that means concurrences are what will be coming. So we're going to try and get whatever we can in committees in between, and then we'll be pulling committees off during the second session to do so. We are also going to make sure that, we've got a lot of important work happening. It is critical. We also have 3 of our senators who are retiring from public service. 4 are fully. 1, we've had the opportunity to give us remarks. We're going to have the 3 that are retiring from public service give remarks to the body, which we will do 1 for each session. And we'll also ask our senators who are leaving to give us some remarks as well at the appropriate time for other reasons, not necessarily retiring from public service. And so we'd like to do that at the end. The first will go at the end today. Before we do that, let's do announcements and see if there are any other administrative tasks before we go. So 3:15, let's hear from the Chair of Finance.
Mr. President, we're going to head right over to the Finance Committee. We've got some concurrences and I think 2 quick bills. So Finance Committee, as soon as we break, come right over to the Finance Committee. We'll be quick, I promise.
All right. Chair of Education, Energy, and the Environment.
Thank you, Mr. President. Triple E will meet at 2 p.m. We may have 1 short sponsor-only bill, depending on what happens in the Rules Committee, and then thereafter, a relatively straightforward voting session with some concurrences. Thank you. At 2 p.m.
Excellent. Thank you, Senator. Recognize the Chair of Budget and Tax.
So the Chair, are we having rules?
Yes. Is that going to be immediately following this? So there is a rules immediately following. Okay.
Okay. Budget and Tax will meet at 2:15.
2:15. Judicial Proceedings.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Judicial Proceedings Committee will meet today at 2 p.m. for bill hearings, concurrences, and other bills.
Excellent. All right. Chair of Rules.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. The Rules Committee will meet immediately after session for a very short voting session in the Silver Room across the hall.
Excellent. Very good. Other delegations, Prince George's County delegation.
Thank you, Mr. President. Prince George's delegation will meet directly after this session in the room next to the Silver Room.
Excellent. Very good. All right. Other announcements? Yes, Veterans Caucus?
Yeah, Mr. President, a vote change?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, please, Senator.
Yeah, House Bill 1286, I want to go from red to green.
Excellent. Red to green, 186. Any objections? Senator, we'll make sure you have the red slip, please. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. All right. Any other notes or announcements? Yes, Senator from District 7.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've been working with the Secretary's office. Some of our floor phones, we're having problems with them. You can't dial out, or when you dial, you get a busy signal, or when people try to call you, you pick it up, you can't answer it. It's been pretty much most session for some of us, and today it's kind of getting more critical. So, I've been working with her, and I appreciate it. Every time they try to fix it, sometimes it works for about an hour, and then it goes back offline. But I know some other members I've been talking with have some of the same problems with some of these phones. So if we could try to, I know everybody's busy today, but, some of our phones are still on the fritz here.
All right, we will see. We'll talk to ITO, see what we can figure out, see what's going on there. Thanks for noting it. Thank you. Any other announcements, administrative or otherwise, before? All right, our first of the 4 retirees, or those who will soon be retiring at midnight tonight. Well, not officially, really. It's at the end of the term, but their last session. We're going to start with Senator, if senators will indulge, Senator Chris West, who of course is the senator from the 42nd District representing Baltimore and Carroll counties. Senator Chris West, as many of you all know, was elected in 2019 after serving in the House of Delegates from 2015 through 2019. He was born in Baltimore and got his bachelor's degree from Williams College and his law degree from the University of Pennsylvania. He has worked for the Maryland Republican Party off and on since 1968 when he was 18 years old. He was the vice chair of the Baltimore County delegation from 2019 to 2021. Since 2015, when he joined the General Assembly, he's advocated for issues around assisted suicide legislation. His final bill, Senate Bill 840, which had a hearing in March, aims to forestall an energy crisis in Maryland. At the hearing, Senator Brian Feldman told West that the bill was a coup de grace of your legislative career. On political moderation, this was a quote that our archives found that I thought was quite appropriate. The senator has said, "Politics is the science of addition, not subtraction. In order to win elections, candidates need to be more and more supporters until they need to add more and more supporters until they constitute over 50% of the voters. Trying to purge the party of people more conservative or more moderate than you merely wastes time, creates festering animosities, and makes the accomplishment of election victories more difficult." And finally, he said, "I've always felt that the more people who are familiar with the government, the better it is." If we could ask the senator from the 42nd District to join us up front and join us at the dais to provide some remarks to the body upon his retirement from public service.
Thank you. This is my first time up here. When I spoke, gave the Lincoln Day speech, I was down there. So I guess I've risen in the world. So thank you, Mr. President. This is an unexpected honor. When Joy Walker called me into her office last week, I thought I was about to be subjected to discipline for some infraction. So her request that I prepare to address the body today came as a surprise, but it inspired some serious reflection. I rise today with some misgivings because I subscribe to the Douglas MacArthur School of Retirement. Old legislators should just fade away. And when I start feeling the least bit self-important, I always remind myself of Richard III's soliloquy about the transitory nature of earthly power. Within the hollow crown that rounds the mortal temples of a king keeps death his court. And there the antic sits, scoffing his state and grinning at his pomp, allowing him a breath, a little scene, infusing him with self and vain conceit, as if this flesh were walls about our life, were brass impregnable. And humored thus comes at the last, and with a little pin bores through his castle wall, and farewell, king. So let me just briefly state that these last 8 years in the Maryland State Senate have been simultaneously the biggest challenge and greatest honor of my life. And far and away, the best part of the job was my daily interactions with my colleagues in my committee and my colloquies on the Senate floor. There, I finally got to use that word one last time. I have great friends on both sides of the aisle and deeply cherish the many good times we've enjoyed as we've worked hard to do the people's business. At all times, I've tried to approach my job professionally. If I've ever given offense due to a perceived slight, I apologize most sincerely, because that was never my intent. I hold each member of this body in the highest respect and have endeavored to treat them with courtesy and collegiality. I do not apologize for approaching my duties as a state senator vigorously. I've always diligently prepared for committee hearings, voting sessions, and floor debates. And I have perhaps been the most active questioner on the Judicial Proceedings Committee, boring in to test the premises and collateral consequences of bills presented to us. I believe that's why the voters elected us, to do our utmost to pass good, intelligently conceived, and carefully written legislation. In fact, my terrific working relationship with the chair and the vice chair of my committee, indeed with all of my committee members, has made my 8 years in this body both memorable and impactful. And because of those working relationships across party lines, I will leave with great pride that during my years in the General Assembly, I will have passed over 100 bills, some very important, others less so, some even piffles, but all of which are making life better for the over 6 million citizens of Maryland. Before I conclude, permit me to recount a brief story that makes an important point. When I was installed as president of the Bar Association of Baltimore City back in 2007, it fell to me to select the speaker for the evening. My surprising choice was former Baltimore Colt Joe Ehrman. Surprising because Joe is not a lawyer. But the room was packed that night with Baltimore City attorneys who had come to hear Joe tell war stories about his years with the Colts. Joe surprised everyone by not mentioning the Colts. In his retirement years, Joe had become a motivational speaker and had taken up the coaching of high school athletics. And he had become concerned about the false gods that our society was setting up for our teenage boys to worship. The gods of money, ephemeral celebrity, sexual prowess, and the acquisition of power to control others. As boys mature, many stop worshiping these false gods, but others don't. And so the theme of Joe's talk that evening was, what makes boys into men? By the conclusion of Joe's address, his audience was dead quiet. You could have heard a pin drop in the wood. His conclusion summed up his message. He said, when you are on your deathbed, with only seconds left before you depart this life, what will you think about? Will you fondly recall how much money you made? Will you smile as you recall your sexual conquests? Will you think with satisfaction of all the power you amassed to control other people? Instead, he said, I hope that at the very end, what occupies your final thoughts are the following questions. Was I a good son? Was I a good brother? Was I a good husband? Was I a good father and grandfather? And then if a couple of seconds remain, did I do something in my life to make this world a better place? Well, as I look around this chamber, I can't answer these questions about your personal life, but I can state with confidence that each of us, all 47 of us, can answer that final question in the affirmative, because each of us, patiently, diligently, day in, day out, through our work for our constituents, our work in our committees, our work on this floor, our work on boards and commissions, studies and work groups, and our work in our communities, achieves amazing results for the people of Maryland, and indeed makes this world a better place. It's been my honor to have stood among you and to have worked at your side these past 8 years, and with that, I bid you a final but heartfelt farewell.
Recognizing the Minority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Can we please journalize those very eloquent words?
Absolutely. Without objection, we certainly will. Thank you very much. It was a good way to end this morning's session. Thank you so much. Madam Majority Leader?
Mr. President, can I very quickly?
Yes.
Tripoli will meet at 2:15 now instead of
2:15. 2:15.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All right. Let's, if we could, please do a quorum call.
Mr. President.
Mr. President.
Oh, I'm sorry. Strike that. Senator from the 45th.
Looked like it was an amendment that was put forward for a motion of special order, House Bill 1530 that I'd like to change my vote on.
Okay. Do we have the red slip, Senator?
I'll make sure to bring one up.
Perfect. Which, 1530?
Yep.
And from red to green?
Red to green.
Red.
Green to red.
Green to red. Green to red. Any objections? Without objection, so ordered. Quorum call. Are we ready? Anything else? Anything else? All right, let's do a quorum call.
Mr. President.
Has everyone recorded their presence? If so, the clerk will take the call. With 46 members in the chamber and a quorum being present, the Senate of Maryland remains in session, recognizing the Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate of Maryland stand adjourned until 3:15 p.m.
3:15. Without objection, so ordered.